Chapter 405 Lin Chen's Bounty. After hanging up the phone, Tianlang gave Lin Chen a list of names of some members of the Fuma Ninja organization. Crackle. Lin Chen quickly controlled the computer to invade. He first checked the members of the Fuma Ninja organization. Not all of them were in Dongying country. Some of them were training abroad, and many of them were in South America. They are undergoing special training in the dense jungle, which is difficult for the outside world to know. Time passes by. Through several high-ranking officials of the Fuma Ninja organization, Lin Chen found several Dongying country consortiums that had close ties with them. Training such ninjas is more expensive than special agents, and they would not be able to persist without the support of these consortiums. I'd like to see which other ninja organizations are involved. Lin Chen continued to dig deeper. He can find the consortium through the top leaders of the ninja organization, and he can continue to dig deeper through the top leaders of the consortium, but this step will consume a lot more time. 10 o'clock at night. Lin Chen finally dug it out. He found an old friend. Taro Ishihara of the Ishihara family. He turned out to be one of the persons responsible for the assassination. 3 ninja organizations participated in this operation, 2 of which sent out 3 high-level ninjas. Another organization dispatched 4. The 3 ninja organizations involve more than a dozen consortiums, and this operation is essentially a national action of the East Sakura Kingdom. The last time he invaded, he caused huge losses to the East Sakura Kingdom. Fujiwara Nobu calculated that their losses exceeded $200 billion. All the conglomerates in Dongying country hate Lin Chen. Each of the high-level ninjas is very powerful, and they feel that the probability of sending out 10 high-level ninjas to kill Lin Chen is high. As a result, only 2 were left out of the 10 people. You guys want to play like this, right? There was a cold light flashing in Lin Chen's eyes. If the economy of Dongying country collapses, it will be disadvantageous to China. He can no longer use the previous hacking methods, but he still has other means of revenge. Lin Chen approached the Ishihara family. The Ishihara family suffered heavy losses and sold many of their properties. Now they have $10 billion in their bank account, and Ishihara also has a lot of money in his personal account. Lin Chen transferred them all away silently. A total of $1.2 billion. Soon Lin Chen entered the dark web and found a killer organization. This killer organization is one of the best in the world. In this killer organization, Lin Chen issued 10 bounty warrants. The minimum bounty for each bounty warrant is $10 million, and the highest is $50 million. The people he offered a bounty for were the big bosses behind the consortiums. Want to play, right? I'll have some fun with you guys. There was a cold light flashing in Lin Chen's eyes. He found another powerful assassin organization, also with 10 kill warrants and a total reward of more than $200 million. 1, 2, 3. Lin Chen found a total of 7 killer organizations and spent $1.2 billion, all of which was gone. Killers from major killer organizations quickly accepted orders. The minimum reward is $10 million, which is very generous. When he was offered a bounty before, it was only $500,000. The one who did it was a secondary killer. Now the highest amount has reached $50 million, which can definitely mobilize top killers. They come from all over the world and don't care about whether they are a consortium or not. Kill one of them and you can get away with it for a long time. Hiss. There are many people in Dongying country who browse the dark web. Among them were people from the consortium that Lin Chen was causing trouble for. Someone discovered the bounty. Beep, beep. A big boss of a consortium in Dongying country was woken up. It was quite late and he had gone to bed long ago as he was old. What's up? The big guy answered the phone. The call was from his son. The family power was still in his hands, but there were some things that his son was in charge of. Father, something happened. The boss's son said anxiously. Why panic? Stay calm when things happen. Father, we are on the dark web bounty list. Your bounty is $50 million, and mine is $30 million. A top killer has taken our orders. Hearing this, the boss suddenly woke up. What's going on? Who broke the rules and used such means? The big man frowned. The top rich people have some unspoken rules, for example, don't use such means to target each other. If you are found out, you will be boycotted by other rich people. Father, we are not the only ones who have been rewarded. There are 30 or 40 people in our Dongyin country who have been rewarded. They belong to more than a dozen different financial groups. I suspect that we are facing Lin Chen's revenge. The boss who got up from the bed changed his expression slightly. Were their actions discovered? They sent ninjas to kill Lin Chen, so even if the truth was exposed, the impact on Lin Chen would be small. They did not publicly offer a reward for killing Lin Chen, but they sent people to kill Lin Chen, so there was nothing wrong with Lin Chen fighting back. Get here first. I have another call coming in. The big guy said in a deep voice. Yes, father. The call was connected, and it was another big boss calling. Yamamoto-shun, did you get the news? Another big guy spoke up. Yamamoto-shun said calmly, President Miyazaki, you still haven't learned manners. Are you talking about the reward? Fuck your manners. That's just my temper, said the big boss Miyazaki Jiro on the other end of the line. Yamamoto-shun shook his head and didn't care. Jiro Miyazaki used to be a gangster, but later he became a clean person. However, it is not so easy to change your personality. How much is the bounty on you? Yamamoto-shun asked. $50 million, we are the same. The top assassins are on their way to kill us. Do you have any good ideas? Jiro Miyazaki was not in a very good mood. Even though he had been through a lot, he was still worried when he knew that a top assassin wanted to kill him. Yamamoto-shun, I don't know much about this. If we work together to put pressure on the killer organization, can we get them to withdraw the bounty? Miyazaki Jiro, the possibility is not high. The other party is offering a bounty on several assassin organizations. Those assassin organizations may not give us face. It's possible that we can give money. But according to the rules of the assassin world, we must survive the first round. Yamamoto-shun asked, what do you mean? Jiro Miyazaki, this level of assassination mission has a deadline of 1 week. If it is not completed within 1 week, a new reward will be offered. We have to make it through the week. We have to find a way to make the killer organization give up. Yamamoto-shun frowned and said, President Miyazaki, the price we will have to pay to make the assassin organization abandon us will not be low. This kind of thing would damage the credibility of the killer organization. At least 5 times the reward amount. Most of them require more than 10 times to resolve. Miyazaki Jiro said in a deep voice. What if the other party looks for another assassin organization? Jiro Miyazaki, we have to keep spending money if they do this. Or we have to find a way to get them to stop offering a reward. Yamamoto-shun said, the one who offered a reward to kill us should be Lin Chen, but we are afraid that we will not be able to find evidence. What if we also offer a reward to assassinate him? Jiro Miyazaki, the assassination organization will not accept orders to assassinate him. He's too good a hacker. Besides, he has hundreds of people protecting him, and the killer is afraid of death. Yamamoto-shun. Chapter 406 The Concerns of the Chaebol. More than an hour passed. It was 2 o'clock in the morning. Miyagi Jiro, Yamamoto-shun and others gathered in a manor. It was very late, but none of them were sleepy at all because of the bounty on their heads. President Yamamoto, you are the oldest, why don't you say something? Someone looked at Yamamoto Toshimichi. The others looked at Yamamoto-shun after hearing this. Yamamoto-shun said, everyone, although there is no evidence, everyone should have the same guess that this was done by Lin Chen. Everyone nodded. Lin Chen is breaking the rules. He should be boycotted by all the wealthy people in the world. 2 big guys said angrily. Yamamoto-shun, he was banned by the United States before. I don't think he cares about the boycott of those rich people. And it's difficult for us to find evidence. Guys, I don't think anger can solve the problem. Everyone fell silent. Yamamoto-shun continued, Lin Chen's hacking skills are extremely strong, and those assassin organizations don't want to take his orders now. It's not easy for us to offer a bounty for his death as well. Another person said, we offer a reward for killing his family. His parents, his wife, children, father-in-law, mother-in-law, etc. Yamamoto-shun, the rebels in Africa kidnapped Su Guofeng, and thousands of them died. Now they have to hide and survive. Killing his family would mean little other than completely angering him. We still have family, too. The man who had just spoken fell silent. They have a bounty on their heads, but their families haven't. If they do, the consequences will be even more serious. Yamamoto-shun glanced over. Some time ago, the banking system was hacked, and the country lost more than $200 billion in just 2 days. If Lin Chen's family members died, perhaps this kind of thing would happen again, and he would pay special attention to us. Someone frowned and asked, President Yamamoto, if you say so, do we still have to stand up and beg Lin Chen for mercy? Yamamoto-shun shook his head. 2 methods. The first is that we offer a joint reward for his death. As long as the amount is high enough, someone will definitely be interested. They can take private orders. Lin Chen will negotiate with us if he feels the pressure. The second option is that we show sincerity in the negotiations and at the same time we pay the killer organization to cancel the bounty. But this can only be cancelled after a week. Everyone was talking about it. They all have very strong security teams, and they believe that they can probably do it if they survive for a week. It would be unbearable if the bounty continued. Lin Chen is so powerful that he is not afraid of the bounty. Although they are rich, they are just ordinary people. A small bullet can send them to death. Ding ding. Just then, Yamamoto-shun's phone rang. The call was from Aso Yu. One of them is a businessman and the other is a politician, but they have a good personal relationship. Brother Aso, why are you calling me so late? Is there something wrong? Yamamoto-shun asked. On the other end of the phone, Aso Yu said in a deep voice, Brother Yamamoto, the Ishihara family's family fund is gone, and the money in his personal bank account is gone too. A total of $1.2 billion. Yamamoto-shun was stunned. The total bounty for their killing is $1.2 billion. Brother Aso, what you mean is that someone transferred their money and used it to offer a bounty to kill us? That should be it. After hanging up the phone, Yamamoto-shun told the situation. Everyone, Lin Chen can transfer the Ishihara family's money silently, so he can definitely transfer our money as well. Yamamoto Toshimichi. Everyone's expression changed slightly. The consequences of confronting Lin Chen were even more serious. Lin Chen had caused them a lot of losses, and they were very angry, so they agreed to a joint operation to assassinate Lin Chen. But the current situation will become even more terrifying if it continues. Lin Chen might transfer all their money and then use the money to offer a bounty for their death. What would they do then? Even if we don't kill them, what will they do if we transfer their money? How will the company operate without cash flow? Everyone, if we jointly offer a bounty for killing Lin Chen or his family, our money will most likely no longer be ours by then. They will become our death warrant. Yamamoto-shun said in a deep voice. Everyone frowned. Lin Chen is a top hacker. Once the money is transferred away, it is almost impossible for them to find it again. The money will then circulate around the world, and after several rounds, it will be thoroughly laundered. Well. Someone sighed. We are businessmen, earning our hard-earned money, so it's best if we don't get involved in such killings. He began to back out. Originally, he thought that the probability of killing Lin Chen was high, so he naturally agreed. Now 8 of the ninjas sent out have been captured. They also had a bounty on their heads. All the money of the Ishihara family was transferred away directly. If they continue like this, their victory will be a Pyrrhic one. Lin Chen can transfer the money silently. This is really scary. If we continue, it will not be good for ourselves or our Dongying Empire. That's right. Several other people spoke up. They were also scared. Everyone, let's not retreat so quickly. We still have 2 high-level ninjas in the Magic City. They may be able to kill Lin Chen and complete the mission. As long as Lin Chen dies, the rest won't be a problem. Someone said in a deep voice. Wait a little longer. I also think that we don't need to be so hasty. If we are too weak, we will be easily targeted by the enemy in the future. Several people spoke up. Naturally, there are also those who support continuing to hold on. Yamamoto-shun said, we have to survive a week anyway, so let's discuss how to deal with it in 3 days. Everyone nodded. Yamamoto-shun said, we will all stay here for the next few days. Our bodyguards can unite to defend. We can also discuss anything quickly. Agree. This is good. Everyone agreed. Their security teams are all strong, but they are far inferior to Lin Chen's security team. They felt insecure facing the world's top killer. It's much better to get together. It was early the next morning. Lin Chen opened his eyes and Su Mengyao was sleeping on her side, looking at him. Good morning, husband. Su Mengyao said in a tender voice. Lin Chen reached out and hugged Su Mengyao and said, "Wife, why did you wake up so early? It's probably not even 7 o'clock yet." "Su Mengyao, I was thinking about your book signing event today, so I woke up early." "Honey, you have to be careful." Lin Chen smiled and said, "With my strength, my safety will definitely not be a problem, you can rest assured." "Wife, don't go out today." Su Menyao's face changed slightly. "Husband, did something happen?" Lin Chen shook his head. "Nothing, it's just that I have a book signing today, and I'm afraid someone will deliberately cause trouble and ruin the event. I won't have to worry about you if you're at home." Su Mengyao nodded. Chapter 407 Book Signing Event begins. In the early morning, countless people flocked to the gymnasium. The sidewalks were packed. Every road was jammed with vehicles. Ding ding. Lin Chen's cell phone rang. He is now on his way to the gym. "Tianlang, what's the matter?" Lin Chen answered the phone and asked. Tianlang on the other end of the phone said, "Mr. Lin, the number of people going to the stadium far exceeded our estimate. There are only tens of thousands of fans coming from other places. The number of people who have gone there in Shanghai is likely to be more than 100,000. Lin Chen. "Now there are hundreds of thousands of people flocking there?" Tianlang said, "There are already more than 100,000 people. It's still early, and there will probably be more people coming later. If there are too many people, the identification effect of the drone will be greatly reduced. Drone identification requires capturing the target's walking posture. It was so crowded that I couldn't take a photo." Tianlang, "Can you identify the fans entering the stadium?" Tianlang, "Mr. Lin, this is okay. There is a relatively open area before entering the gymnasium where you can identify it." Lin Chen, "Then you guys make sure it's safe inside. There are so many people outside, you can't handle it all. By the way, you guys have to pay attention to the safety of my home." "Don't worry, Mr. Lin. There will be no problem at your home." Sirius Road. With the police car leading the way, it took quite some time for Lin Chen to finally reach the gymnasium. There was a large open space outside the gymnasium, which was now crowded with many people. "Master Lin is here. Master Lin, here. Master Lin." Seeing Lin Chen get off the car, countless fans shouted loudly. Lin Chen was a little confused. He already has 100 million fans on Douyin, but his fans don't gather together on weekdays, so he has never experienced the feeling of being an idol star so intuitively. "Master Lin, there are too many people. It's easy for something to go wrong." Tianlang approached and reminded Lin Chen. He had arrived here a long time ago to maintain order here. "Lin Chen, is there a tweeter?" "Have." Sirius Road. He quickly found a microphone for Lin Chen, which was connected to the tweeter on the special police vehicle. Lin Chen turned on the microphone. "Everyone, please be quiet for a moment. Thank you for your love, but you are too enthusiastic and there are too many people coming. I saw many people brought their children, and some of them were quite old. It's very crowded here now, and there will be many more people coming later. The crowd is so crowded that it's easy for a stampede to happen." Lin Chen spoke. His voice was heard from far away through several loudspeakers. "Everyone, to thank everyone for their enthusiasm, I will arrange an online live broadcast within a week. You can tell stories, sing songs, etc. then. But I also have a small request. You must leave in an orderly manner and don't gather outside the stadium. The temperature is relatively low today, don't catch a cold." "Thank you, everyone." Everyone started to leave and Lin Chen breathed a sigh of relief. There are already 50,000 to 60,000 people here, and many are still on the way. If 100,000 or 200,000 people gather here, the risk of a stampede will be very high. "Mr. Lin, please go in quickly." Sirius Road. They were also worried about Lin Chen being outside. "There are too many people to check. What if the remaining two ninjas are hiding in the crowd? And they are not the only ones who want to kill Lin Chen." Lin Chen entered the gymnasium under the protection of Tianlang and others. There was indeed a ninja in the crowd outside. This ninja is still a woman. She had a gun, but Tianlang and his men were heavily guarded, and there were many people around, so she couldn't get close enough to shoot Lin Chen. "What a pity," the woman thought to herself. She is also a Chinese, and she had grabbed an admission ticket. Originally, she was thinking about whether she could kill Lin Chen outside, so she did not go in immediately. Now that Lin Chen has gone in, she has to go in too, She put the gun in a plastic bag and threw the cell phone into a trash can. It would definitely not work to go in with the gun. Disposing of the pistol, the woman went inside. She is very confident. There was absolutely nothing wrong with her resume. She was indeed a fan of Lin Chen and had bought his books. She also liked to read the fairy tales written by Lin Chen. She has also made many comments online in support of Lin Chen. Just looking at these, there is no doubt that she is a fan. But once she received the order, she had to kill Lin Chen. Obeying orders is the first rule. Ding ding, ding ding. The alarm sounded in the command center. A photo of the woman appeared on the big screen. Everyone, please pay attention, a suspicious target has been spotted. Level 1 danger. The command center quickly issued an early warning. The Goan team at the stadium quickly received the news. They didn't move. The woman quickly reached the security check channel. Everyone entering needs to go through security checks. It is impossible to bring a gun, let alone a knife, into the gymnasium. Sizzle. When it was the woman's turn to go through security, the security equipment discharged electricity, and the strong current instantly knocked the woman unconscious. Crack. Someone around immediately handcuffed the woman. These handcuffs are specially made. Even if you can easily open ordinary police handcuffs, it is difficult to open these. Don't worry, everyone. This person is very likely an enemy spy. Please do not tell anyone what you just saw. If you violate this rule, the police will come and take you back for investigation. A person from Goan came out to explain. We must keep it a secret. Someone nearby said hurriedly. The others also nodded. Soon the unconscious woman was taken away by the National Security Bureau. Tianlang approached Lin Chen and whispered, Mr. Lin, we just captured a female ninja. Wu Bin is the only one left among the 10 ninjas. Well, don't be careless. Maybe there are other killers. Lin Chen reminded. Sirius nodded. Lin Chen walked towards the autograph table. This table was specially made. It looked like it was made of wood, but it was actually made of a bulletproof composite material. If there is any danger, Lin Chen can just dodge down. Everyone, thank you for coming. Time is short and the task is heavy. Let's not waste any more time and start immediately. Lin Chen said with a smile. The book signing will begin soon. The fans who came here did not bring their own books. If they needed a book, the staff would bring a new book to Lin Chen, who would sign it and then give it to them. This can avoid poisoning. If you use books brought by others, who knows if they have been tampered with? The people who entered here might be fine, but the books they brought with them might have been swapped. Swish. Lin Chen wrote the 2 words Lin Chen in a flamboyant manner. Thank you, Master Lin. The first fan said happily. Time passes by every second. It takes about 10 seconds, more than 300 yuan an hour, and including lunch, it takes 10 hours for 3,000 people to sign. What to do? Wu Bin frowned secretly. He was sitting in a taxi at the moment. The taxi was almost reaching the stadium, but people at the stadium were leaving. He continued to go where he could be easily spotted. It's better to look for opportunities near the UN community than to stay here. Wu Bin thought to himself. Chapter 408 Wu Bin appears again. East Sakura Country. More than one world-class killer has arrived, and their targets are chaebol bosses such as Yamamoto Shun. Assassinating such a big shot will inevitably lead to retaliation, but as the world's top killers, they are not afraid of this. Lin Chen has offered a bounty for 30 or 40 targets. Some of these people have gathered together for joint defense, while others are far away and it is not so easy for them to get together. Somewhere, a tycoon left his villa and prepared to go out. He has an important meeting to attend. Now. More than a kilometer away, a man gently pulled the trigger, and the sniper rifle bullets quickly attacked. Puff! Before the chaebol could get into the car, a bullet pierced his chest. Perfect. The killer smiled. As a world-class killer, he doesn't attack very often, but he succeeds every time. So far, his assassination success rate is 100%. Without lingering, he quickly dismantled the sniper rifle and left. Yamamoto Shun and others soon got the news. President Ikura actually died like this. I told him last night to come over, and he said his security force is strong and there will be no problem. Faced with the world's top killers, our usual security forces are far from enough. Yamamoto-san and the others were talking about it. About 20 people who were wanted by Lin Chen for his bounty have arrived here, and the security team has more than 300 people in total. These people are all elites. A security team of 300 people can defend a much larger area. Another place. A chaebol walks around. He was a little conflicted. Can he be guaranteed to be safe at home? If he leaves home and goes to the manors where the tycoons gather, will the killers who want to kill him have already arrived? Father, you better go over there. It's highly likely that the killer is still on the way. We have to make it through a week, and it's going to be a lot harder to make it through at home. The chaebol's son said. The chaebol nodded. He made a phone call and soon several police cars came over. He drove his bulletproof car to the garage, got in the car, and drove out. The convoy quickly headed towards the manor where the tycoons gathered. This chaebol does not live in Dongjin, but the distance is not too far and it can be reached in 3 or 4 hours. It would be faster to take a helicopter, but he didn't dare to take a helicopter. If the killer is already nearby, with the helicopter's protective capabilities, even if it successfully takes off, it may be shot down by the killer in ambush. He felt much more at ease sitting in the bulletproof car. Gurgle. Not long after, the chaebol felt thirsty. There was a small refrigerator in the car with water in it. He took out a bottle of mineral water and gulped down half of it. Doctor, hospital. Soon the chaebol felt something was wrong. He was dizzy and could not speak clearly. Less than 200 meters before the convoy moved forward, he died. After 2 chaebols died in succession, the rest of the people were in panic. No matter how much money they have, they only have one life. They didn't expect that the consequences of targeting Lin Chen would be so serious. Lin Chen really dared to offer a reward for their lives. Okada is dead too. It's only the first day and 2 people have died. It may not be wise for us to assassinate Lin Chen. Some tycoons in the manor were discussing that they all had a lot of money and they didn't want to die inexplicably. They believe there will be no problem if they gather together like this and get through a week, but what will they do after a week? If Lin Chen is alive and well, 3 days later, should they bow their heads to Lin Chen and beg for his forgiveness? If the bounty is not revoked, even if they pay the killer organization to break the contract, it will only be of so much use. There are too many killer organizations around the world. Lin Chen can continue to offer rewards to other killer organizations. If the killer organization breaks the contract on its own initiative, the reward money will be refunded in full. It will not be difficult for Lin Chen to change the reward of another killer organization. Will they then ask other organizations to break their contracts? One after another, how much money do they have to play like this? Noon. Lin Chen was eating when Tianlang came to his side. Mr. Lin, 2 wealthy people died in Dongying country. Tianlang whispered. Lin Chen looked puzzled. What's the big deal? There are so many wealthy people in Dongying country, it's normal for 2 to die in a day. Nothing. Sirius shook his head. He muttered in his heart, what the hell is normal? They were all assassinated after being rewarded. The Ishihara family's money was also transferred away by a mysterious person. The mysterious man must have used that money to offer a bounty for their deaths. That mysterious man is most likely Lin Chen. Tianlang, just tell me what you have to say. Lin Chen said. Tianlang whispered, Mr. Lin, they were assassinated, and the people of Dongying country suspect that it was you who did it. There are already rumors like this on the internet. Lin Chen said calmly, if suspicion is useful, then what do we need the police for? Forget suspicion. There are many people who want to kill me. Who are they? Oh yeah, why were they assassinated? Tianlang murmured in his heart, why don't you know about the assassination? Mr. Lin, there are dozens of them with bounties on their heads, ranging from 10 million to 50 million US dollars. Lin Chen said enviously, they are still worth more. The reward for me was only 500,000 US dollars. Tianlang. I'm afraid those chaebols in Dongying country will not be happy. In the afternoon, Lin Chen continued to sign books. Wu Bin took the bus and passed by Ziyuan community. He carefully observed the environment near Ziyuan community. It is difficult to enter the Ziyuan community and kill people. Near the Ziyuan community, the security force is apparently very strong, and each of the community security guards is a spirited young man. There is a police booth less than 30 meters away from the community gate, and there are several riot special police vehicles parked around the Ziyuan community. There are police dogs near the gate of the community and in the driveways, so it is not easy to bring prohibited items into the community. Wu Bin also saw snipers on nearby tall buildings. If there is any unusual movement, the guns in their hands will not be vegetarian. There are only 2 of us left in this operation. When did the Chinese national security become so strong? Wu Bin frowned secretly. He knew that the Chinese National Security Bureau was very powerful, but each of them was also a high-level ninja who had undergone special training. Their individual abilities surpassed those of most national security teams. But most of them were discovered as soon as they arrived in China. Could it be China's Skynet system? But there is nothing wrong with our identity information. Wu Bin was a little confused. The bus continued to move forward and Wu Bin got off after 2 stops. This place was about 2 kilometers away from Ziyuan community. Wu Bin disguised himself and put on makeup, and since it was winter and he wore more clothes, he believed that no one would notice him. But when he walked less than 50 meters forward, a hidden drone captured his gait. Ding ding! The command center soon sounded an early warning. There is a 53% chance that this person has received military training. Hey, this person walks a bit like Wu Bin. A person in the command center said. Liang Jingtian said in a deep voice, compare his data with Wu Bin's immediately. The drone system does not have this comparison function. But they have other ways to compare. The comparison results came out soon. This person is Wu Bin. Chapter 409 Wu Bin threatens again. Before Liang Jingtian and the others could take action, Wu Bin entered a residential area where he planned to rent a house. He needs to understand the situation of the community before renting a house. Wu Bin entered Jiayuan community. Everyone, please don't act rashly for now. Keep a close eye on Wu Bin's movements and don't let him get away. Liang Jingtian ordered. Wu Bin looked around the community. There were 3 exits in the community. The wall of the community was not too high and there was no electricity, so he had no problem climbing out. The building where Lin Chen lives cannot be seen from here, but if Lin Chen comes from this direction, he will pass by the gate of the community. Waiting a little longer here may not mean you won't find an opportunity. Wu Bin frowned. He looked down from the window and keenly noticed that there were 4 more cars on the roadside in front of the community gate, 2 on each side. It was a bit strange to see 4 more cars in such a short period of time. I'm exposed? Wu Bin muttered to himself. He couldn't understand how he had been exposed again. After he had put on makeup and disguised himself, even his acquaintances could hardly recognize him. Wu Bin went downstairs quickly. There are some bicycles parked downstairs. Wu Bin took out a gadget and easily opened and removed the chains of the 2 bicycles. He then used the chain to lock the unit door tightly from the inside. This residential complex is quite old. The unit doors are made of iron and all the lower floors are equipped with anti-theft windows. Once the door was locked, the residents of the building were trapped. Wu Bin went upstairs again to check the situation outside. What's going on? Who locked the door? Not long after, someone downstairs started cursing. He used the key to open the door of the unit downstairs, but it couldn't be opened because the back of the door was entangled with an iron chain. Wife, please come downstairs and open the door. I wonder which bastard got the chain tangled in it. The man downstairs called his wife. His wife came downstairs quickly. Honey, I can't open it. The door of the unit is locked with 2 chains. Wait, there seems to be something tied inside these 2 chains. The man's wife outside the door said. What's tied up? The man outside the door asked. His wife frowned and said, I can't see it. It's wrapped in a black cloth with a little red light flashing inside. Hubby, wait a minute. I'll go find Brotherly. He's a repairman. He has big pliers that can cut this off. The man outside the door suddenly thought of something. His face changed and he said quickly, Wife, no, you can tell others, but tell them not to cut it randomly, the cloth may contain a bomb. Ah. His wife was so frightened that she took a few steps back. The man outside the door also stepped back a little. He continued, Wife, I'm going to call the police right away. Don't move. The man soon called the police. Liang Jingtian and his team soon got the news. Captain Liang, how did Wu Bin find us? Someone in the command room asked doubtfully. Liang Jingtian said, it's meaningless to discuss this. Let's ask the comrades from the nearby police station to check out the situation first. Woo woo. Soon a police car drove into the community. This community did not have a separation between people and vehicles, and all the cars were parked on the ground. Comrade Police, please save us. Comrade Police, there seems to be a bomb in here. Many people inside the unit were talking at the same time. The police outside the door said, "Stay back, don't get close to the unit door, go back to your home and lock the door. The people downstairs are getting ready to go home." At this moment, a strange voice came from upstairs. "There is no bomb inside the iron chain, but there are several bombs in other places in this building. As long as the chains break, those bombs will explode." The faces of the people in the building changed drastically. How many bombs are there in their building? Liang Jingtian and his friends soon got the news. Liang Jingtian knew that it was pointless to pretend to be ignorant at this time. They should know when something like this happens. 6 people got out of 2 cars outside the community. Wu Bin saw this scene through the window. His face remained calm as this was completely within his expectations. How did it get exposed? Wu Bin frowned secretly. When he was at the high-speed railway station, he was only lightly disguised, so it would have been okay if he was discovered, but now he is heavily disguised. This situation was also found to be very wrong. How can we assassinate Lin Chen? If he gets close to Lin Chen, he will probably be discovered by others. It looks like the mission has to change. Wu Bin muttered to himself. It is difficult to kill Lin Chen in the current situation, but he may be able to rescue his companions. The other companions should be dead, but the one in the morning should still be alive. Thinking of this, Wu Bin slowly walked down the stairs. Someone was talking upstairs just now, so the people downstairs didn't dare to go upstairs. Seeing Wu Bin coming down the stairs, they all looked at Wu Bin. Wu Bin said with a smile, "Go back to your own homes." "What are you doing here?" "Stay on the first floor. If the building collapses, it will be very difficult to dig you out." Everyone went upstairs in fear. After they left, Wu Bin said to the outside, "You arrested my companion this morning. Please release her. I want news that she is safe in half an hour. Otherwise someone will die in here." The faces of several national security members who rushed in from outside the door changed. "How many people are in the building?" One of the national security officers whispered to the police officer who arrived first. The police said, "There should be 40 to 50 people, most of them are elderly and children, and the young people have basically gone to work." The news soon reached Liang Jingtian. Liang Jingtian frowned. There are 40 or 50 people in the building. If there really is a bomb, who knows how many people will be injured or killed if it explodes? Ding ding. Tianlong's cell phone rang. He is now maintaining security at the gym. "Jingtian, what's the matter?" Sirius inquired. "Wolves, we have an important situation. We found Wu Bin, but he was very alert. He noticed something was wrong before we even got close to him. He has now entered a residential building. He has locked the door of the unit, and there are 40 to 50 people inside the building. There might be a bomb in there." Liang Jingtian reported. "His level is slightly lower than Tianlang. What did he ask for?" Sirius inquired. "Wu Bin must have something in mind when he did this." Liang Jingtian, "He wants us to release Hu Jing. He said if we don't release her within half an hour, he will kill her." "Hu Jing is the woman who was arrested this morning." Tianlang pondered. "Have you ever spotted him entering this neighborhood before?" Sirius inquired. Liang Jingtian, "No, but this community is accessible by car, so he might have entered in a car." "Wolf, do you think there might not be a bomb in there?" Tianlang said, "It is highly likely that there is no bomb, but we can't gamble. Even if there is no bomb inside, with his ability, he can kill a lot of people quickly. Find a negotiation expert to talk to him. Delay the time first." Liang Jingtian, "I have already arranged this. That's it for now. I'll report to the higher-ups." Sirius rode. Lin Chen frowned secretly. Tianlang was standing some distance away from him, but Lin Chen could hear the conversation between Tianlang and Liang Jingtian clearly. Chapter 410 Lin Chen shot and killed someone. Half an hour passed in a flash. Wu Bin said through the iron gate, "Time is up, have you released the person? If not, I will have to kill someone." The negotiation expert outside the door said, "Wu Bin, you should know that we will not let you go if you do this. If your method can succeed, then is it meaningless for us to arrest your people in the future?" You can just grab some hostages to threaten us to release them. Wu Bin sneered, in this case, I will kill someone and try. The negotiation expert said, Wu Bin, if you don't kill anyone, everything will be fine. If you kill someone, the situation will be different. As long as you kill someone, the negotiation channel will be closed. That way more of you will die. Wu Bin said coldly. The negotiation expert said, this is the rule. If you can make us obey you by killing people, then should we also obey you if others kill people in the future? It will make more criminals choose to do this. More people will be hurt. Wu Bin, you can propose other conditions. We can meet your other reasonable conditions. Wu Bin, I want a video chat with Hu Jing. Wait a minute, I need to report it. Give me 10 minutes. The negotiation expert outside said. Wu Bin said coldly, you only have 5 minutes. The negotiation expert stepped away and said, Wu Bin doesn't want to die. I think there is still a lot of room for negotiation. I'll buy time, and you guys hurry up and find a solution. Liang Jingtian nodded. He rushed here and took command personally. 3 minutes later, the negotiation expert approached the iron gate. Wu Bin, you can't video chat with Hu Jing for the time being. Hu Jing has taken a drug and is now in a coma. She won't wake up until 2 hours later. Wu Bin sneered, you guys are trying to stall for time, right? Don't dream of finding a way to subdue me. As long as you attack me by force, I will detonate the bomb immediately. My companions made arrangements in advance. The hidden bombs are enough to completely destroy this building. If you don't believe me, you can try it. The negotiation expert said, Wu Bin, I believe it. But please also believe me. Hu Jing is now in a coma. We know that she has already taken poison. We want to see if she can be cured. Wu Bin, you have a good relationship with her, right? If you surrender, you can reunite with her. You have the antidote, right? You won't have to die then. Wu Bin looked outside. It's winter now and it gets dark early. It should be dark in 2 hours, so it will be much easier for him to leave. I'll give you 2 hours. If you still refuse after 2 hours, I will kill you. Wu Bin said coldly. The negotiation expert secretly breathed a sigh of relief. It would be a big deal if Wu Bin killed someone regardless of the consequences. An hour passed in the blink of an eye. Lin Chen finished signing the book for the last fan. Those who came in were all real fans, so there were no surprises here. All fans please leave in an orderly manner. Lin Chen picked up the microphone and said. Thank you, Master Lin. Some people shouted. Soon everyone else followed suit and shouted, Thank you, Master Lin. 3,000 people shouted in unison, the sound was deafening. Lin Chen smiled and said, I'm quite tired today, and it's getting quite late. I won't chat with you guys today, I'll have a good chat with you guys during the live broadcast in a few days. Please leave in an orderly manner. The fans left one after another, and Lin Chen quickly left through another passage under the protection of Tian Lang and others. Tian Lang and Lin Chen were in the same car. Is there any progress with Wu Bin? Lin Chen asked. Tian Lang was stunned. How could Lin Chen know that? Mr. Lin, do you know? Lin Chen nodded, he is in Jiayuan community. Tell me, do you have a good plan to save those people? This. Tian Lang hesitated. Don't hesitate, just say it. Tian Lang sighed slightly and said, Mr. Lin, Wu Bin is very alert. As long as we take action, he will probably start killing the hostages immediately. It's not appropriate to attack by force. For now, we may still consider letting him go. But if he leaves this time, it will probably be difficult to catch him again. He is likely to leave the Magic City. Lin Chen thought for a while and said, Let's go over there. Tianlan's expression changed. He quickly said, Mr. Lin, no. With your status, you absolutely cannot be in danger. Lin Chen, don't worry, I won't take any risks. I'll go over and see if there's a bomb inside. Tian Lang was puzzled. Mr. Lin, can you tell this? Lin Chen, I can judge by what he says and his expression. Don't worry, I won't go in. I have a wife and children, I'm not that stupid. Mr. Lin, I have to report to my superiors. Lin Chen said, I will call Subu directly. 5 minutes passed. Su Xiangyang finally agreed. More than half an hour passed. Lin Chen and his team hadn't arrived at Jiayuan community yet, but the 2 hours Wu Bin and his team had agreed on were up first. Wu Bin said loudly, "It's time. I want a video chat with Hu Jing." "Wu Bin, Hu Jing hasn't woken up yet. But we got news that Mr. Lin will be here. He said he wants to talk to you. He will be here in about half an hour." The negotiation expert said outside the door. Wu Bin's heart moved. Would Lin Chen come here? "The Mr. Lin you are talking about is Lin Chen?" The negotiation expert said, "Yes, it's Master Lin Chen Lin. He's here to persuade you. Why don't you wait a little longer?" "Oof. Then I'll wait another half an hour. Don't play any tricks," Wu Bin said coldly. "If Lin Chen comes, he might be able to kill Lin Chen." Another half an hour passed and Lin Chen arrived. Wu Bin saw the convoy outside through the window, and the bulletproof car that Lin Chen was riding in drove into the community. "Come closer," Lin Chen ordered. The bulletproof car arrived quite close to the building. "Mr. Lin, please don't get off the car. Serious road." As soon as he finished speaking, Lin Chen opened the car door and got out. "Wu Bin, did you see me?" Lin Chen shouted into the building. Wu Bin's voice came from the third floor. "Lin Chen, if you come in, I can release the rest." Lin Chen smiled and said, "There's no bomb inside, right? If there is a bomb, you can throw it at me at this distance." After saying that, Lin Chen leaned out a little. Tian Lang and the others' expressions changed. Lin Chen leaned out and the gun could hit Lin Chen. "You don't have a gun. Am I right?" Lin Chen spoke. Wu Bin. If he had a gun, he would definitely shoot Lin Chen immediately. Lin Chen said, "You didn't make any arrangements in advance, you just chose this place temporarily after you found out you were exposed." Wu Bin laughed and said, "Mr. Lin, you are very capable and courageous. But do you need a gun to kill someone? I killed quite a few of them easily with my bare hands." Lin Chen fired quickly. Bang! The bullet shot out in a single line. Wu Bin hit very well, and the place where he was could not be shot normally. But Lin Chen's marksmanship is legendary. Puff! The bullet hit Wu Bin's head accurately. Chapter 4:11, How did you hit this? Lin Chen put away his gun. "Tian Lang, it should have hit the target. Let's send the drone in to check." Tian Lang and the others looked at Lin Chen in shock. "How did you hit this?" Wu Bin was hiding behind the wall. Although he was close to the window, they had no shooting angle at all. Moreover, Lin Chen's shooting method is also different from theirs. He swings his arms very quickly before shooting. How come it looks so similar to the gunfighting techniques in the movies? Send a drone in to check immediately. See if Wu Bin is dead. Check the rest of the place as well. Tian Lang came back to his senses and ordered. Lin Chen's marksmanship is amazing, but many magical things have already happened to Lin Chen, so one more thing doesn't seem to be a big deal. Yes. Buzz. Soon several drones flew in. Through the images captured by the drone, Tian Lang and his team saw that the bullet hit Wu Bin's head accurately. Soon several drones checked other places and found no danger. Let's go. Lin Chen got in the car and said calmly. Wu Bin is quite powerful, but the gap in strength between him and him is too big, so killing Wu Bin is just a piece of cake for him. Soon Lin Chen and his convoy left. Wolf team, did you see that just now? How did it hit the target? The bullet can actually turn. Someone next to Tian Lang said in disbelief. He was a very good shooter and had been looking for an opportunity, but Wu Bin was very cunning and didn't give him any chance. Tian Lang, what happened just now is confidential. Tell everyone else about it. Don't talk about it. In his opinion, Lin Chen's marksmanship is Lin Chen's trump card, and this time he showed it in order to save people. Tian Lang had no idea that this was not Lin Chen's trump card at all. Lin Chen's trump card was his strong physique and his current legendary martial arts skills. It is his 4,000 cubic meter system space. These are much more impressive than his legendary marksmanship. Dad. When Lin Chen returned home, Lin Xiaoqian immediately ran over. Dad, I miss you so much. Lin Chen picked her up, and Lin Xiaoqian kissed Lin Chen several times. Su Mengyao's voice came from the kitchen. Husband, take Cici to wash her hands. It's time to eat soon. Good. Lin Chen responded loudly. Cici, is Mom cooking today? Lin Chen asked in a low voice. Lin Xiaoqian blinked and said, Dad, you've worked hard today. You should eat more later. I haven't been anywhere, and my stomach is full. Lin Chen burst out laughing. I told Mom. Lin Xiaoxian quickly said, Dad, this is a secret between you and me, you can't tell Mom. Soon Lin Chen and his friends washed their hands and had their meal. The taste of the dish is naturally average, but at least it's cooked better than before, and the salt content is also normal. Can be eaten. Husband, something happened in the nearby Jiayuan community. Su Mengyao spoke. The relevant information was blocked on the internet, but its private dissemination could not be stopped at all. The distance was very close, and people in the owners group were talking about this matter. Lin Chen smiled and said, the police have already dealt with it. It's not a big deal and won't have much impact. Don't worry. He knew that Su Mengyao asked this because she was worried that the bandit might be targeting him. Solved? Su Mengyao's eyes lit up. Lin Chen nodded, don't worry, it's solved. That's good. Su Mengyao breathed a sigh of relief. East Sakura Country. Taro Ishihara and others got the news. Wu Bin is dead. They sent out 10 high-level ninjas, and Wu Bin was the last one. Wu Bin's death meant that this assassination attempt had completely failed. What to do? Taro Ishihara looked dazed. The operation failed, but the bounty was still there, and he was one of the 30 or 40 people on the bounty. Aso, you walked in. Brother Aso, we have to send more people. We will draw high-level ninjas from various ninja organizations, and also send some high-level agents. Ishihara Taro said in a deep voice. Asoyu shook his head and said, I'm afraid it won't work. The major ninja organizations probably won't agree to this now. The directors of the major financial groups are now under bounty. They are the financial backers of all the major ninja organizations. Taro Ishihara's face was gloomy. He said unwillingly, are we just going to give up like this? We still have a chance to win. If he admits defeat now, Taro Ishihara knows very well that he will have to take the blame. Asoyu sighed. Brother Ishihara, we sent 10 people, but they were all wiped out in such a short time. Even if we sent someone else, they would probably be discovered as well. And as we continue, the bounty will continue, and it's very likely that the bounty will be increased. What do you think we should do? Taro Ishihara was silent. Aso said, Brother Ishihara, the major financial groups will definitely not support us to continue. 2 of our people have been assassinated. Just then, Asoyu's phone rang. After answering the phone, he frowned and said, there are more than 2. Another one was assassinated just now. Taro Ishihara sat down dejectedly. He knew he was doomed. The death of 3 chaebol in such a short period of time will inevitably put tremendous pressure on the surviving chaebol. Brother Aso, if we target Lin Chen's relatives. Aso Xiong said, Lin Chen can transfer your money, and he can also transfer all of our money. If we do this, do you think he will hold back? Ishihara Taro said sternly, if he dares to do this, he will force our Dado Sakura Empire to go to war with them. Asoyu looked at Ishihara Taro. Maybe they want it. Ishihara Taro. Asoyu, although I don't want to admit it, our Donying Empire is not as strong as them now. Taro Ishihara opened his mouth. He wanted to retort, but couldn't. Another place in Donying country. Yamamoto-shan and more than 20 people quickly gathered together. Have you all received the news? Miyata is dead, and the last ninja we sent out is also dead. Yamamoto-shan took a deep breath and said. Everyone nodded. They all looked unhappy. The 3 people who died had assets worth over $10 billion, but their lives were equally fragile. Everyone, maybe we have to give in, otherwise if the bounty continues, more of us will die. We can't gather here forever. Even if we do, it's not completely safe. Yamamoto-shun said in a deep voice. The person next to him said, even if we find Lin Chen, he will definitely not admit this matter. How can we talk about it? Another person said, we can contact him online. We send a message and he will find us. It depends on what conditions he proposes. Everyone nodded. They quickly posted a message online, wanting to talk to the mysterious man, and they also provided a website address that was not accessible to ordinary people. Mr. Lin, 3 chaebols have died in Donying country, and they want to talk to the person who put a bounty on their lives. Tianlang contacted Lin Chen by phone. Lin Chen, Tianlang, although this matter has nothing to do with me, I feel that they can attack whenever they want and talk whenever they want. There is no such good thing. I don't think the mystery man will talk to them now. Tianlang smiled and said, "You are both geniuses. If you think so, I guess the other party thinks so too." Chapter 412, Sisai infected with virus. After answering the phone, Lin Chen went to the piano room. He is in the shop with Su Mengyao and Lin Xiaoqian at the moment. "Dad, it's your turn," Lin Xiaoqian said in a baby voice. Lin Chen smiled and said, "Okay, Dad will teach you how to play." Soon Lin Chen began to play. 10 minutes later, the system voice sounded in Lin Chen's mind, "Host, your piano skills have reached the legendary level." A massive amount of information flooded into Lin Chen's mind. At the same time, Lin Xiaoqian's piano talent improved rapidly. Her original piano talent was pretty good, but as Lin Chen's piano skills improved, her piano talent reached around 100. Such piano talent is top-notch in the world, perhaps only slightly weaker than Lin Chen's. Lin Chen continued to play. He didn't show a stronger level right away. But Lin Xiaoqian's talent has improved and her perception is even stronger. She closed her eyes and immersed herself in Lin Chen's piano playing. When the song ended, Lin Xiaoqian said happily, "Mom and Dad, I think I understand a little bit now." "Sisai, you always seem to understand something." Su Mengyao touched Lin Xiaoqian's little head and said, "Lin Xiaoqian, Mom, that's not true. My understanding now is different from my understanding before." Su Mengyao's eyes lit up. She looked at Lin Chen and asked, "Hubby, is it possible that Cece's talent in piano has also improved?" Lin Chen smiled and said, "Of course it's possible, but whether it has been improved or not still needs further verification. Let's continue." 10 minutes later, Lin Chen smiled and said, "Cece's piano talent has indeed improved a lot. Her piano talent is now very impressive." Su Mengyao said happily, "That's great. Husband, how does Cece's piano talent compare to her painting talent now?" Lin Chen said, "Cece's greatest talents are in mathematics and painting. Her talents in piano and martial arts are also pretty good, but they are still a little behind in comparison. With her talent, it will be no problem for her to learn these four at the same time. As for the rest, if she wants to learn, I will teach her." Lin Xiaoqian has the highest original talent in mathematics. Lin Chen's mathematics is now at the legendary level. Lin Xiaoqian's mathematics talent is around 130. Her talent for painting is also around 130, but Lin Chen's painting skills have now reached the mythical level. There is no room for improvement in my talent in drawing, but there is in mathematics. "Dad, I want to be as good as you, hee." Lin Xiaoqian said happily. Lin Chen picked her up and said, "Cece, you can do it. Let's go home and sleep." Midnight. Ahem, ahem. Lin Xiaoqian coughed. Su Mengyao woke up, the bedroom door opened, and Lin Chen heard Lin Xiaoqian coughing in the study. "Honey, I'll go get some warm water for Sisai." Su Mengyao got up and said. Lin Chen nodded and took Lin Xiaoqian's pulse. "Honey, Sisai has a cold? It is winter now and there is floor heating at home. The temperature difference between indoor and outdoor is quite large, making it easy to catch a cold, have a fever and cough." Lin Chen frowned slightly, "I'm afraid not. Cece was infected with the virus. Her physique is much stronger than her peers. If she is infected, many children will definitely be infected." Su Mengyao's heart tightened. "Honey, does that matter?" Lin Chen said, "Cece, I'll take care of her, and her physique has improved a lot, so it won't be serious. It's probably similar to a normal cold. At most it will last a little longer. But the rest of the kids?" Su Mengyao asked, "What will happen to others?" Lin Chen said in a deep voice, "Influenza is not an ordinary cold. In severe cases, influenza can kill people." Su Mengyao's expression changed slightly. "Honey, do you have any special medicine to treat this?" Lin Chen, "I need to find out what kind of flu it is first. Taking the pulse can only tell if it's a viral infection, but there are many types of viruses, so we need to be specific about it. I'll go make some medicine for Cece first." Su Mengyao asked doubtfully, "Husband, didn't you say that we need to know the specific virus before we can use the medicine?" Lin Chen said, "I am using traditional Chinese medicine to treat Cece. There is no need to know what virus it is. Traditional Chinese medicine is about improving the body's resistance and using its own immune system to fight various diseases. Everyone's physical condition is different. The same prescription may work for Cece but may not work for others." Su Mengyao nodded suddenly. The next day, Lin Chen arrived at his alma mater. He is now an honorary professor of his alma mater, and his photos are now hung on the walls of his alma mater. Professor Lin, you can use this lab as you like, the principal said cheerfully. He wished Lin Chen could come every day. Every time Lin Chen comes, the school's reputation increases. Thanks. Lin Chen dived into the laboratory and quickly began research. Lin Chen had never touched the equipment in the laboratory, but his skills in Western medicine were close to legendary level, so using the equipment was a piece of cake for him. An hour later, Lin Chen's expression became solemn. This virus is indeed unusual. Although it is not comparable to the one a few years ago, this flu is much stronger than the common flu. Currently on the market, the only relatively good specific medicine for this virus is a foreign drug. What a coincidence! Lin Chen muttered to himself. He remembered that there were many viruses on the internet before, but later antivirus software became free and viruses were basically gone. Ding ding! Lin Chen called Su Shangyang. Mr. Lin, do you have any instructions? Su Shangyang asked with a smile on the other end of the phone. Lin Chen, Commander Su, there is a kind of flu that we need to be vigilant about. Children can be easily infected with this kind of flu, and its mortality rate can reach 0.3%. But that's not the scariest thing about it. The most frightening thing is that if it is not treated in time, delaying it for a certain period of time will lead to more serious sequelae. Subu quickly asked, what are the sequelae? Lin Chen said, first, the immune system will be reduced, and the chance of getting sick in the future will increase. Second, the brain nerves will be damaged, and the IQ will be permanently affected. Third, reproductive function is affected. Su Shangyang took a breath of cold air. A mortality rate of 3 per thousand is quite scary. If 1 million children are infected, 3,000 will die. There are such serious sequelae. Mr. Lin, is this virus man-made? Su Shangyang said in a deep voice. Lin Chen, Minister Su, it's hard to say. This virus may also occur naturally in nature. There is a special medicine in the United States that can treat this, but it's quite expensive. Su Shangyang frowned. Mr. Lin, can you develop a drug for this virus? Yes, but this virus spreads quickly, so I don't think we will have enough time to conduct clinical trials. Lin Chen said. Su Shangyang, Mr. Lin, can you confirm the effect? Will there be any side effects? Lin Chen said, the effect is better than the one in the United States. The side effect, after taking this, you may feel a little sleepy. Other than that, there are not many side effects. Su Shangyang breathed a sigh of relief. Mr. Lin, I will report this to the higher-ups immediately. The government will produce it and put it on the market as soon as possible. Chapter 413 Lin Chen's conditions. Soon Su Shangyang reported to his superiors. Several big guys gathered together for a meeting. What do you think? The leader glanced over and asked. Mr. Li cleared his throat and said, everyone, if someone else said this, I would remain skeptical. It is very risky to promote a new drug without clinical trials. But now it's Lin Chen who said this, I think it's credible. Another big boss said hesitantly, Lin Chen is very good at Chinese medicine, but his level of Western medicine is. It seems that he has never shown this aspect. Zhang Laodao, I don't think there will be any problem. Given Lin Chen's situation, there is no reason for him to take the risk and say anything. How about we just give him a call? The leading boss nodded. They need to be more cautious about this kind of thing. If a drug is promoted without clinical trials and major problems arise, the consequences will be very serious. Ding ding. Mr. Zhang quickly dialed Lin Chen's number. Mr. Zhang, is there anything good? Lin Chen asked with a smile. He is still in a borrowed university laboratory. Since he is here, he plans to develop something else besides this drug. Elder Zhang asked with a smile, Shaolin, did I bother you? I called you to ask you what your level is in Western medicine? There are considerable risks in letting people take a new drug directly. Don't be modest now. We need to know the truest situation. Mr. Li beside him also smiled and said, Shaolin, we are in a meeting. Please tell us what you have to say. We should all listen carefully. Lin Chen replied, Mr. Li, Mr. Zhang, my Western medicine skills are much better than my ancient medicine skills. If nothing unexpected happens, I should be the best in the world. Mr. Li and the others looked calm. Lin Chen's answer was within their expectations. Shaolin, we are relieved when you say that. Don't worry, the patent fee that belongs to you will not be reduced. the leading boss spoke. Lin Chen, I won't charge for this patent in China. Although this medicine is not very expensive, some people at the bottom of society may still be reluctant to buy it. The cheaper it can be, the better. The leader said solemnly, Shaolin, on behalf of the country and the people, we would like to thank you. After the call ended, the leader said, everyone, there is no need to discuss this, right? Lin Chen doesn't even want to take any money, so there is absolutely no problem with the safety of this medicine. Everyone nodded. Lin Chen has said that Western medicine is of higher level, and since this medicine is available in the country, he does not charge patent fees. What else is there to say? Lin Chen had already given the formula of the medicine to Su Xiangyang, and several state-owned pharmaceutical factories soon received the production tasks. With a formula, it is not difficult to produce a new drug. Several large state-owned pharmaceutical factories can produce it at the same time, and the speed is very fast. A large biopharmaceutical company in the United States. Father, influenza V has spread to many countries. Doctors have found that our medicine is effective. Should we increase production? A middle-aged man said happily. The old man in front of him thought for a while and said, wait a little longer. We will produce more medicine when the market is in great shortage. We can raise the price further then. Our profits can be maximized. The middle-aged man said hesitantly, Father, but I'm afraid many people will die in each country. The old man said calmly, although our medicine is expensive, people in developed countries can basically afford it, and it will not have much impact on the entire Western world. This has a greater impact on countries like China. The middle-aged man nodded. Father, should we raise the prices in China and other regions? The old man said, let's just raise the price in China. They have a large population and consume a lot of money. Affected by market factors, it is normal for us to raise the price. In Dongying country, Yamamoto Shun and others looked extremely solemn. Another person with a bounty on his head died. A total of 4 chaebols lost their lives. Everyone, we must start this conversation immediately. If we continue, we are likely to have more deaths. Yamamoto Shun said in a deep voice. Another person said, Lin Chen should know the news, but he has not logged into that website. Maybe we need to do something before we can talk. They all thought of Taro Ishihara. The assassination was primarily carried out by Taro Ishihara. Let's all discuss this. Yamamoto Toshimichi. Everyone was talking about it. Half an hour later, they reached a consensus, which was to put pressure on Taro Ishihara to take responsibility. Soon they did just that. Upon hearing the news, Taro Ishihara turned pale. Last time his son committed suicide, this time it's his turn. Father, can't we refuse? Taro Ishihara's second son asked. Reject? Taro Ishihara smiled bitterly. All the major families in chaebols have joined forces to put pressure on him. If he doesn't die, the entire Ishihara family will be torn to pieces. Then he wouldn't be the only one to die. Half an hour later, Taro Ishihara had arranged his funeral arrangements. He also chose to commit suicide. It didn't take long for the Dongying country media to report this news. Ishihara Taro is dead? Lin Chen muttered to himself. Tianlang told him the news. He had already returned home, and Lin Chen soon checked and found that Taro Ishihara was indeed dead. A few hours later, Lin Xiaoqian fell asleep, and Lin Chen turned on the computer and logged into the website. Here it comes. There are people guarding Dongying country at all times. The URL is empty, with just a dialog box. Master Lin, the assassination operation that Ishihara Taro was responsible for is now dead. Please cancel the bounty on us. A line of words popped up in the dialog box. This line of words is in Chinese. Lin Chen sneered. There were 2 traps in this sentence. The first was the name, and the second was the Chinese language used. You can call me king. I'm not Master Lin, I'm his fan. Your actions are far from satisfying me. Also, you use English, and I'm too lazy to translate online. Lin Chen replied in English. His fans now spread all over the world, and English is the most widely used language in the world, so it is impossible to check. Baga, he won't be fooled. Someone from Dongying country said depressedly. Yamamoto Shundao beside him said, tell him that 4 of our super rich people have died, and Taro Ishihara is also dead. We have paid a huge price. Soon the person in front of the computer started typing. This time he used English. Lin Chen, they deserve to die. If they don't meet my conditions, the bounty will continue. If you dare to mess around, the money in your bank may no longer belong to you in the future. Yamamoto Jun and others. This is a huge threat to them. King, what are your conditions? A faint smile appeared on Lin Chen's face. First, Aso Yuya led this assassination attempt, he must die. Second, the Ishihara family is targeting Master Lin again, the Ishihara family needs to be destroyed. Third, you must pay $10 billion in compensation. You can discuss how much each family should pay. Chapter 414, $10 billion in compensation. After hearing the translation, Yamamoto-shun and the others looked unhappy. Baga, he's asking for too much. He's dreaming of paying $10 billion in compensation. Several people cursed. Yamamoto-shun said to the man in front of the computer, tell the other party that this condition is too harsh and we cannot accept it. Soon Lin Chen received a reply. He sneered and typed on the keyboard, this week it's 10 billion, next week it's 20 billion US dollars. If we can't come to an agreement, we can put the discussion aside this week. You have 3 minutes to think about it. Yamamoto-shun and the others frowned. There are 30 or 40 people on the bounty list, but they do not come from 30 or 40 families. The bounty is 10 billion US dollars, and each family has to bear an average of about 500 million US dollars. This is not a small amount of money. But compared with 20 billion, 10 billion is still easier to bear. They soon reached an agreement. They are willing to give money. Tell the other party that Aso was not involved in the case. We can give the money but Aso cannot die. Yamamoto-shun said in a deep voice. Lin Chen received the message quickly. He is one of the responsible persons. He must die. If he doesn't die, 4 more people will die on the bounty list. Yamamoto Jun and others. It would be better to let Asoyu die than to let 4 more die. We agreed. In the end, Yamamoto-shun and others chose to compromise. King, to whom should the 10 billion US dollars be transferred? Lin Chen, Master Lin was frightened. You should just pay the 10 billion US dollars directly to Master Lin as compensation. I don't need this little money. After the conversation, a man next to Yamamoto-shun said, transfer the money to Lin Chen. The other party must be Lin Chen without a doubt. Another person sighed and said, what's the use? We all know that the other party is definitely Lin Chen, but we have no evidence. Let's discuss how to pay for it. Aso-yu soon got the news. I have to die too. Aso-yu was completely dumbfounded. He deliberately pulled Taro Ishihara in and let him take the lead, but he didn't expect that he still couldn't escape. Father, please run away. Find a place to hide. Aso-yu's son Aso-I said anxiously. Aso-yu shook his head, how to escape? Let's not talk about whether we can escape or not. Even if we escape, what will happen to the family? All the family's money may be transferred away. You may all become targets of bounties. Aso-jing gritted his teeth and said, Father, let's fight Lin Chen. Aso-yu sighed. I can't spell it. We lost it before we even started to fight for money. Without money, the people below us may not listen to us. After arranging his funeral, Aso-yu also committed suicide. The next day. Bite. Lin Chen received a text message from the bank. He received 10 billion US dollars in his bank card. The chaebols in Dongying country were all put on the bounty list, and they raised funds for compensation in the shortest possible time. You are sensible. Lin Chen muttered to himself. He rescinded the bounties on those men. For tasks have been completed and the money cannot be refunded, but he has cancelled the remaining bounties and can get half of the money back. A total of 540 million US dollars was refunded. It was difficult to transfer the money to his account, so Lin Chen left it in a secret account abroad. Honey, can you come in? Su Mangyao pushed open the door and poked her head in. Lin Chen smiled and said, Wife, just come in. Even if I'm dealing with confidential emails, I'm afraid you won't be able to understand them. Su Mangyao. She entered the room and said coquettishly, Hubby, I feel like you are looking down on me. Lin Chen said with a smile, I am telling the truth. Su Mangyao rolled her beautiful eyes at Lin Chen. Honey, Cece's cough is better now. Lin Chen said, this is a viral infection. It will last longer. You will still have a cough and fever in the future, but don't worry, Cece will be fine. Aha! Su Mengyao nodded. Honey, look at this. Lin Chen showed Su Mengyao the bank text message. 10 billion US dollars in foreign exchange has arrived? Su Mengyao was stunned. Lin Chen already has 90 billion in his bank card. With this money added, wouldn't that be more than 160 billion yuan? Husband, this money is. It was compensation from some forces in the East Sakura country. In the name of Master Lin's fan, I asked them to transfer the money to me. Su Mengyao was a little worried. Husband, will there be any problem if I transfer this money directly to you? Lin Chen smiled and said, it won't be a problem. If they dare to make a fuss about this, they will lose more. They should be able to behave themselves for a while. Su Mengyao frowned and asked, will they cause trouble again? Lin Chen nodded. That's for sure. They suffered heavy losses during the war, and only after 2 mushrooms were planted on them did they become completely obedient. We are far from that point now. Su Mengyao, if they behave themselves for a while, your strength will improve, and I can become stronger too. Lin Chen nodded. Let's go to the second bedroom and expand your meridians. 3 days passed in a flash. Lin Xiaoqian recovered, but a large number of children in Shanghai and other places were infected with type B influenza. At the same time, major hospitals began to use a new drug. This new drug works very well. Although it won't make kids recover instantly, it can make the effects of the flu almost as severe as a cold. The price of medicine is also quite cheap. Even the lower class people can basically afford it. The American biopharmaceutical company. Father, something bad has happened. Eric entered his father's office. How? Eric's father, Joseph, said. Father, China has launched a new drug that can treat influenza V, and it's more effective than ours. Eric said quickly. Joseph frowned. What's the price? The price is only 1/20th of ours. Joseph. How did a new drug suddenly appear? We have many informants in China, but they didn't find it? Eric said, Dad, I doubt this drug has been clinically tested at all. China discovers problems and directly pushes them to the market. Joseph narrowed his eyes and said, let the media publicize it. If they have clinical trials, they will say so. If they can't produce evidence, then they don't have it. If not, you should know what to do. Eric's eyes sparkled. Father, if there really isn't any, then we should increase our publicity efforts and make their people doubt their medicine, and then they will buy ours. Joseph nodded. Hurry up and do it. We have invested a lot of money in this drug. Soon some foreign media reported the news. The news quickly spread across the country. With the help of the Navy, the news spread quickly. Many people began to doubt. Hubby, look. Su Mengyao handed her cell phone to Lin Chen. Lin Chen quickly sent a notice using his mobile phone. Chapter 415, we have to call Master Lin. Dear fans, this drug was developed by me. The notice sent by Lin Chen was very simple. But soon after it was posted, there were a lot of messages. My daughter also got the flu, and I was wondering whether to use it. Since it was developed by Master Lin, there must be no problem. My wife almost bought the one from abroad, which cost several hundred yuan a box. Master Lin's is much cheaper. No brainer to trust Master Lin. The first responses are basically positive comments. Lin Chen now has more than 100 million fans, and there are also some black fans among them, but their number is small, and the chance of them seeing the announcement in the first place is lower. It turns out that this medicine was developed by Master Lin. There is no problem then. I can use it without any worries even though there is no clinical trial. Master Lin is already famous enough to go down in history. He must be careful about his reputation and won't do anything he is not sure of. It seems that Master Lin is also very strong in medicine. As the news spread, many people discussed it. Even those who were not fans of Lin Chen believed in Lin Chen. The sales of that kind of special medicine from abroad had been increasing, but with the release of Lin Chen's news, the sales dropped sharply. The medicine developed by Lin Chen costs only 20 or 30 yuan, while the special medicine from abroad costs 5 or 600 yuan. Basically, you need to take 2 boxes to be cured. Not to mention in rural areas, even in cities, many parents may not be willing to buy this medicine because it is so expensive. If you keep delaying it, it will eventually lead to sequelae. Abroad, Eric got the news. Damn it! Eric's face was grim. China's population base is there, So even if the price is high, there will definitely be many people buying their medicine. Lin Chen's announcement cut off their source of income. Father. Eric told his father about the situation. Joseph frowned and said, Eric, contact some media immediately and question whether the lack of clinical trials is a violation of life and human rights. Also, find a few more authoritative experts to question from a professional perspective whether there may be a big problem with Lin Chen's medicine. Eric nodded. They spent a lot of money developing this new drug and had expected to make 10 to 20 billion US dollars from it. Eric soon contacted the media and experts to launch an offensive. Naturally, the news quickly spread to the country. Many people were shaken. At this time, Lin Chen started the live broadcast. Many fans quickly flocked into Lin Chen's live broadcast room. The operators of Douyin did not panic this time. Lin Chen had already told them about this live broadcast and they were well prepared. 100,000, 200,000, 300,000. In just half a minute, the number of people in the live broadcast room exceeded 1 million. And this number is still rising rapidly. Master Lin, where are you? Master Lin. Barrages of comments continued to emerge in the live broadcast room. Lin Chen smiled and said, Dear fans, I promised you a live broadcast during the book signing event, and here it is. Master Lin, you don't have a pharmaceutical company, so how come you were able to develop a special medicine so quickly? You can probably make 10 or 20 billion from this flu, right? Many comments were sending the same message. Lin Chen narrowed his eyes slightly. If you touch someone else's cake, someone will be angry. Cici also got the flu this time. Her physical condition is pretty good among children now. As soon as she was infected, I knew that this virus was not simple. I went to the laboratory to check and found that it was true. I then developed a drug for this virus. As for making money, I don't have a penny for now. I don't charge any patent fees for selling this drug in China. Lin Chen replied calmly. There were already 3 to 4 million people in the live broadcast room, and they were extremely surprised that Lin Chen did not charge any patent fees. My friends, if your child is infected this time, don't bear it, this virus has sequelae. If you delay it for too long, it will reduce the child's immunity and damage the brain nerves, affecting the child's IQ. Fertility will also be affected. Lin Chen said solemnly. Many people were shocked. Are the sequelae so terrible? Lin Chen smiled. Okay, everyone. Now that we've finished our business, let's move on to something else. Let me tell you 2 fairy tales first. After telling 2 fairy tales, Lin Chen sang 2 more songs. His singing skills are close to mythical. Even the king of singers is not as good as him. Too strong. My friend is on the national team, but his level is not nearly as good as this. Master Lin's singing level has become even better. Countless comments emerged in the live broadcast room. There are far more people who like listening to songs than those who like fairy tales. Lin Chen has demonstrated a very high level of singing before, but his level was not as high as it is now, and he only sang 1 song, so the impact the time was far less than this time. As these 2 songs become popular, Lin Chen will definitely attract many fans. Everyone, let me play 2 songs for you next. Lin Chen smiled. He set up his phone and sat down in front of the piano. Bite. Beautiful piano music soon rang out. Lin Chen's piano skills are now at the legendary level. This level is definitely the best in the world. There are already more than 10 million people in the live broadcast room. They are immersed in it, and the wonderful piano music seems to cleanse their souls. The live broadcast room was in an uproar after the 2 songs ended. Barrages of comments emerged crazily. Oh my god, Master Lin is so good at playing the piano. I think it's impolite to call him Master Lin anymore. Given Master Lin's level, we should call him Grandmaster Lin. I agree, let's call him Grandmaster Lin. The fans in the live broadcast room quickly changed their name. Lin Chen smiled and said, You call me Grandmaster Lin. I feel like I have suddenly aged 10 or 20 years. Master Lin, your calligraphy and painting have not been shown yet. We have many fans of yours in these 2 areas. Someone posted a comment. Soon many people supported it. Lin Chen took his cell phone to his workshop. Lin Chen set up his phone and started drawing. He paints landscapes. There are already about 10 or 20 million people in the live broadcast room, and they seem to have entered the world in Lin Chen's paintings. After about 15 minutes, Lin Chen finished the painting. He picked up the brush and wrote another poem on it. Master Lin, are you selling this? I'll give you 30 million. I'll give you 50 million. I'll give you 80 million. There were many wealthy people hiding in the live broadcast room. They made bids one by one, and the price soon exceeded 100 million. Lin Chen said, "Thank you all for your kindness, but I don't sell my paintings. I will donate this painting to the museum. Anyone interested can go to the museum to see it." There are people from major museums in the live broadcast room. Upon hearing this, they quickly reported it. Lin Chen said he would donate it to a museum, but he didn't say where. Everyone, that's all for today's live broadcast. Lin Chen smiled. He turned off the live broadcast immediately after he said that. Lin Chen found that his number of fans had increased a lot. And it is still rising rapidly. In one live broadcast, he simultaneously demonstrated 5 abilities: fairy tales, singing, piano, calligraphy, and painting. This will allow him to attract many new fans. The live video was quickly transferred overseas. The number of overseas followers is increasing even faster. Lin Chen does not rely on fans to make money, but with so many fans, he has a strong influence both at home and abroad. Able to break the Western hegemony of public opinion. Chapter 416. I want to build a submarine. Father, our operation has failed. Eric came to his father Joseph and said. Joseph frowned and said, I watched the video. Lin Chen is good at many things, and he is at the top level in every aspect. Everyone is willing to believe in his medical skills. We are afraid that we may lose the Chinese market this time. We must do our best to defend the markets in other countries. Eric nodded. If they lose the Chinese market, they will earn much less, but as long as the rest of the markets are there, they can still make money. Ding ding. Just then Eric's cell phone rang. He answered the phone. Hello. An electronic synthesized voice sounded from the other end of the phone. I am Master Lin's fan king. You are plotting against Master Lin. Please come forward and surrender immediately. Eric's face changed drastically. He knows King. He learned about Lin Chen's information. Some time ago, many wealthy people in Dongying country were put on bounty list, and 4 super rich people died in the bounty list. The hacker who targeted them was King, and many people in Dongying country believed that King was Lin Chen. Eric thought so too. Since Lin Chen is very good in many aspects, it is reasonable for him to be a good hacker. Are you the king? Eric asked tentatively. Whether I am or not, you will know when you are on the bounty list. Eric quickly said, Wait, King, this is a misunderstanding. We are not targeting Lin Chen. We just want to make a little more money. Lin Chen said on the other end of the phone, I'll give you 1 hour. Expose what you have done, or you will be hunted down by the top killer. Eric looked grim. We are not sure whether you are the king or not. You have 1 hour to decide. The other party hung up the phone after saying that. Eric quickly told Joseph the situation. Father, do you think the other party is right? Eric inquired. Joseph thought for a while and said, that should be the case. We are not easy to mess with. Who would bother us for no reason? Eric frowned. Father, should we tell the media and experts about questioning Lin Chen and his medicine? It would have a serious impact on our reputation. Joseph paced up and down the room. They don't want their reputation to be damaged, but if they don't do what the other party says, they may be put on the spot for assassination. Expose it. I'll take responsibility this time. Joseph took a deep breath. Eric is in charge of many things in the company now, so it wouldn't be a big deal even if he retired completely. Father, let me do it. Joseph shook his head. I am old, and the company will be yours sooner or later, and you can't be affected. Soon Joseph held a press conference. He publicly stated that he had contacted the media and experts to deliberately discredit Lin Chen and the medicine developed by Lin Chen. They also hired some internet trolls in China to deliberately smear and manipulate the situation. Mr. Joseph, may I ask why you do this? Mr. Joseph, why did you expose yourself? Mr. Joseph. The reporters asked questions like sharks smelling blood. Joseph took a deep breath and said, when faced with a natural disaster, the first thing I thought of was profit, but later I was condemned by my conscience. That drug was very good. I realize what I did was wrong. After saying this, Joseph turned and left. This press conference was broadcast live online, and Lin Chen watched it. Joseph did not tell the truth completely, but he could still accept this result. He took the initiative to attack Eric and the others, and they should not dare to jump out and cause trouble in the short term. A week passed. The flu is still spreading in China, but no one is panicking at all. Lin Chen's medicine is very effective. The symptoms will be relieved after taking medicine. The symptoms will completely disappear in just 5 or 6 days. Ding ding. Lin Chen's cell phone rang. It was Su Shangyang who called. "Miss Su, what's the matter?" Su Shangyang said cheerfully, "Mr. Lin, good news, several countries want to import that drug, and our production can meet their own needs and have surplus. What do you think is a suitable price?" "Minister Su, this is up to you guys. Countries with good relations are cheaper, and countries with bad relations are more expensive." Lin Chen smiled. Su Shangyang, "Okay, then in countries like Dongying and Bang, our prices will be 20 times higher, and for countries with good relations, we will double it." Even if the price is 20 times higher, Lin Chen's medicine is still cost-effective. 2 boxes of the medicine developed by Lin Chen are definitely enough, while 3 or 4 boxes of the special medicine from the United States are required for more serious conditions. And Lin Chen's medicine is more effective. "Minister Su, the price is up to you. By the way, Subu, I want to build something." Su Shangyang asked, "Mr. Lin, what do you want to build?" "As long as you want, there is absolutely no problem." Lin Chen said, "You have mastered the technology of the small stealth unmanned attack submarine I gave you, right?" "Almost." Su Shangyang said. Lin Chen said, "I want to build a submarine. I will pay for it and it will belong to me personally. Is that okay?" Su Shangyang asked in surprise, "Mr. Lin, you personally paid to build a stealth attack submarine like that? Is that okay?" Su Shangyang thought for a moment and said, "Mr. Lin, given your status, if you want to build a submarine like this for research, I don't think the higher-ups will object." Lin Chen said, "Then hold on tight. Unmanned submarines are much easier to build, and their displacement is only 2,000 tons, so half a year should be enough." Su Shangyang said, "The expert team estimated that if we build it at full speed, it should take at least 5 months. Mr. Lin, I will report to the higher-ups and get back to you." After hanging up the phone, Su Shangyang immediately reported to his superiors. Sure enough, the higher-ups agreed quickly. The technology was provided by Lin Chen and will not be leaked. Lin Chen pays for it himself. So what's wrong with him buying one? "Mr. Lin, the higher-ups have agreed." Su Shangyang called again. "Commander Su, men like all kinds of weapons. There is still a lot of space in this submarine. I want to load all kinds of guns and ammunition in it." Lin Chen said. Once the submarine is built, he can store it in the system space. Lin Chen couldn't collect such a big thing on the shore, but in the sea, he could with his current strength. He had long wanted to hide a lot of munitions in the system space. Although he had hidden some drones now, the number was small, and they used anesthetics. In the event of a large-scale attack, this would not be enough. "Mr. Lin, then let me prepare some more cabinets for you then," Su Shangyang said. Lin Chen wanted to collect some guns, which was naturally no problem. He didn't even need to report such a small matter to his superiors. After hanging up the phone, Lin Chen smiled. With such a submarine, things that are inconvenient for him to collect directly can be transported to the submarine first and then collected. The utilization rate of system space can be improved. Chapter 417 Super Ninja Plan. In Dongying country, a dozen people gathered secretly. There are very powerful forces behind these dozen people. Dear seniors, let me introduce myself. My name is Hatoyama Wadari. A middle-aged man came into the conference room. He was younger than those who arrived at the meeting room first, but those who arrived before him did not dare to act arrogantly. Behind Hatoyama Wadari is their king. "Mr. Wadakawa, why did you gather us together?" Yamamoto-san asked. Hatoyama Wadaru said, "Senior Yamamoto, you are frightened this time. You must want Lin Chen to die, right?" Yamamoto-san and the others nodded. "There is no doubt about this." Another person said, "Mr. Hatoyama, it's one thing for us to want to do it, but it's another thing for us to be able to do it. 10 high-level ninjas will die quickly if they go to the Demon City. In total, we paid $10 billion in compensation." Hatoyama Wadari sat down. "My dear seniors, high-level ninjas are very powerful, but they are just ordinary people, and it is normal for them to fail. The East country needs even more powerful super ninjas. Everyone looked at him. Hatoyama Watari continued, the Empire has actually been conducting life research. For the Empire and for the future of mankind, we are working silently. Yamamoto-shun and others' expressions changed slightly. The so-called life research is probably human experiments. We are about to develop a super ninja. As long as we develop a super ninja, the future will be ours. Lin Chen will die, and our Dongying Empire will have a bright future. Hatoyama Watari spoke with some excitement. Mr. Hatoyama, what is a super ninja? Someone asked. Hatoyama Watari looked at the other party and said, super ninjas have stronger strength and faster speed. High-level ninjas are trash in front of them. As long as our super ninja comes out, killing Lin Chen will be no different from killing a chicken. Yamamoto-shun asked, Mr. Hatoyama, you asked us to come here because you want us to provide financial assistance? Hatoyama Watari nodded. We have spent a lot of money on this and are now almost successful, but if we want to succeed quickly, we need even more massive financial support in the short term. Another big boss asked, how much money is needed and how long will it take for the super ninja to come out? If we research it, can we obtain it? Hatoyama Watari thought for a while and said, an additional $20 billion will be needed, which can be obtained in half a year at the earliest. You cannot obtain super ninjas at the beginning, but the future expansion of the empire cannot be separated from your support. You can make your cronies into super ninjas later. The person to Hatoyama Watari's left asked in confusion, Mr. Hatoyama, can't we become super ninjas ourselves? Hatoyama Watari shook his head. Not for a short time. The lifespan of a super ninja will be greatly reduced. You will definitely not take the risk until this problem is solved. Everyone nodded. They certainly cannot accept a significant reduction in life expectancy. They are old and might just die. Everyone, what do you say? $20 billion is not a small amount, but China is getting stronger and stronger. This is our only chance to surpass it. Hatoyama Watari said in a deep voice. Everyone was thinking about it. China's military has indeed become stronger over the years, and they all feel very strong pressure. If a war breaks out, they may all be liquidated. And they all have enemies with Lin Chen. Lin Chen might target them in the future, so they need to improve their strength and kill Lin Chen. I agree. I agree. Finally, everyone spoke up. $20 billion is a lot, but they come from more than a dozen powerful forces, and each of them only needs to contribute $1.3 or $1.4 billion. They can take out this money. Hatoyama Watari smiled and said, everyone, the Empire will remember you. You are all heroes of the Empire. Yamamoto-shun said in a deep voice, Mr. Hatoyama, I hope everything goes well. I hope that the super ninja will come out in half a year. Of course. Hatoyama Wataru said with full confidence. Wow, Mom and Dad, it's snowing. Dad, can I go out and build a snowman and have a snowball fight? Lin Xiaoqian looked out the window with great joy. Snowflakes fell from the sky, the ground turned white, and the trees were covered with snow. Of course. Lin Chen said lovingly. Su Mengyao was a little worried, hubby, Cici just recovered from the flu not long ago, will she get sick again if she goes to play in the snow? She caught a cold twice last year while playing in the snow. Lin Chen smiled and said, don't worry, my dear. Cici's physical condition is much better than last year. It's not so easy for her to catch a common cold. Even if you catch a cold, I'm here for you. Su Mengyao nodded. In the past, she was very worried when Lin Xiaoqian caught a cold, but now she is not that worried about it anymore. Dad, let's get up. Let's go play in the snow. Lin Xiaoqian climbed down from the bed swiftly. Lin Chen said with a smile, Cici, don't worry, you have to finish breakfast anyway. Let's go to Grandpa and Grandma's house after breakfast. It's more convenient there. Otherwise our snowman might be destroyed. Lin Xiaoqian nodded repeatedly. Mom, please call Grandma and ask her to stop sweeping the snow outside. Su Mengyao smiled and said, okay. 2 hours later, Lin Chen and his friends arrived at Su's house. The snow here was very clean and no one had destroyed it, so Lin Chen soon started playing in the snow with Lin Xiaoqian. 5 minutes passed. Host, you accompany Lin Xiaoqian to play in the snow to gain ice skills. It will take 30 hours to reach the Grandmaster level, and 60 hours to reach the Grandmaster level. The system's voice sounded in Lin Chen's mind. Lin Chen asked, System, what is the use of ice skills? System, this is different from ancient martial arts Tai Chi. Ancient martial arts Tai Chi is about your body and meridians generating internal force. This is your mental power affecting external energy. Lin Chen was very surprised. Superpower? Almost. Lin Chen thought for a moment and said, that is to say, even if my internal energy is used up, if my mental strength is sufficient, I still have supernatural powers to protect myself if I become stronger. Yes, host. A faint smile appeared on Lin Chen's face. Not bad. He practiced ancient martial arts Tai Chi to improve his mental strength, but the improvement was not very significant. The effect of improving mental strength is still very large. For example, collecting things into the system space requires mental strength. If the mental strength is weak, it will be difficult to collect big things, even if the system space is sufficient. Dad, what are you thinking about? Let's hurry up, I want to build a big snowman, hee hee. Lin Xiaoxian said in a baby voice. Here I come. Lin Shen said with a smile. The father and daughter were playing happily in the snow. Su Mengyao was pregnant and did not go out. She was in the villa, looking at Lin Chen and the others through the window. Mengyao, when are you going back to the countryside? Yang Qingyue brought hot tea to Su Mengyao and asked. Su Mengyao, it will probably take another week. Mom, I can't spend the new year with you this year. Chapter 418 Lin Chen's investment plan. In the evening, Su Guofeng came back. Grandpa. Lin Xiaoxian ran towards him and called sweetly. Su Guofeng picked up Lin Xiaoxian and said, Cici, you haven't been here for a few days. I missed you so much. Lin Xiaoxian, Grandpa, I'm sick, and Dad is treating me, so I couldn't come here before. Grandpa knows. Su Guofeng kissed Lin Xiaoxian and said, Dad. Lin Chen and Su Mengyao also walked towards Su Guofeng and shouted, Hey! Su Guofeng nodded and smiled. Shaolin, you guys are going back to your hometown soon. How many days will you stay here before you go back? No problem. Cici likes playing in the snow. It happens to be snowing these few days, so she can have a good time here. Lin Chen smiled. Su Mengyao, Dad, wash your hands and eat. Lin Chen cooked today. Su Guofeng's eyes lit up. He hasn't eaten Lin Chen's cooking for a while. Soon Lin Chen and his friends started eating. After drinking for more than 30 minutes, Lin Chen asked, Dad, I have quite a bit of cash on hand now, and I plan to invest some of it. Do you have any good suggestions? Su Mengyao asked doubtfully, Husband, don't you plan to invest? Lin Chen said, the situation is different now. I have too much cash now, so I should invest some of it. Previously, he only had about 90 billion in cash, but now his cash has soared to more than 160 billion. Su Guofeng, Shaolin, how much do you plan to invest? Lin Chen thought for a moment and said, about 50 billion. Su Guofeng was stunned. 50 billion? That's a lot of money. Su Guofeng said, Shaolin, you have great medical skills. You should be able to come up with other powerful drugs, right? If you set up a pharmaceutical company, the results will surely be very good. Lin Chen said, I don't plan to do this. I will give some formulas to the country and collect patent fees directly. I invest mainly because I hope to help the country. Yang Qingyue smiled and said, Old Su, look at Xiaolin's vision. He is not like you who only thinks about how to make money. Su Guofeng glanced at Yang Qingyue. Wife, we have different pursuits. I am very lucky that I can support the employees of Su Group. Shaolin's pursuit is to be remembered for generations. Lin Chen smiled and said, Dad, you support many employees and help the country solve the employment problem. Su Guofeng and Lin Chen clinked their glasses. Shaolin, you hope that the investment can help the country, but at the same time, you don't want to spend a lot of energy on management? Right. Lin Chen nodded repeatedly. Su Guofeng, I have two suggestions for you. The first is to invest in important ports. Ports are very important in the future world pattern. The second is to invest in various mines in Australia. But both require strong strength, otherwise the investment may be cut off by other countries. Lin Chen thought about it. Investing in ports and mines is a good idea. This can make money for yourself and also help the country. As for other countries trying to take advantage of him, go ahead and try. His powerful hacking skills are not for show. Su Guofeng continued, Shaolin, you can discuss with the higher-ups about which ports to buy. They will definitely help you arrange it. You just need to pay for it. You don't have to worry about port operations. Lin Chen nodded. Dad, your advice is very good. Ports and mines are easy to be strangled. However, investing 50 billion in both at the same time may not be enough. Su Guofeng smiled and said, this is a long-term investment. If you have money, you invest. If you don't have money, you make money first. Lin Chen nodded. It would be a good idea to invest 50 billion first to test the waters. He still plans to keep more cash in hand, perhaps he can make money from the financial market in the future. After dinner, Lin Chen went to the study. Ding ding. Lin Chen called Su Shangyang. Mr. Lin, what's the matter? Lin Chen smiled and said, Minister Su, I have too much small change in my card, and I want to invest some of it. I plan to invest in foreign ports and mines in Australia. We plan to invest 50 billion in the first phase. Could you please help me find suitable investments? Su Shangyang's eyes lit up. It's a good idea for Lin Chen to invest in foreign ports and mines. These things are in Lin Chen's hands, which makes things much more convenient for the country, and they are also very safe in Lin Chen's hands. As long as Lin Chen is alive, other countries, even the United States, that want to take advantage of him will have to think carefully. The Dongying Kingdom lost more than $200 billion after provoking Lin Chen. For super rich people also lost their lives. In some sensitive regions and sensitive countries, it is actually not easy to invest in China's state-owned enterprises. Even if you invest, there is still a risk of being cut off. The country needs to consider all aspects comprehensively. Even if it is cut off, sometimes it may have to swallow the bitter pill. Lin Chen is different. It was normal for Lin Chen, a civilian, to fight back after being cut. Mr. Lin, you have very good qualifications. If you need a loan, I think the bank will be happy to lend it to you. Bank loan interest rates are very low now. Su Shangyang reminded. Lin Chen was stunned. Borrow money from banks to acquire more ports and mines? This is not bad. In this way, he still has 110 billion in his card, and if there is an opportunity in the financial market, he can still make money. Minister Su, I will then borrow 150 billion yuan. Please help me find high-quality ports and mines first. Lin Chen thought for a while and said. Investing 200 billion is not a big deal for him. He already has more than 160 billion in his bank account and he also has patents. Apart from anything else, the patent for solid-state batteries must bring him no less than 10 billion yuan in small amounts every year. In the future, as solid-state batteries become more mature, there are more electric vehicles, and they are used in more other fields, the profits he will receive from solid-state battery patents will surely increase. Mr. Lin, no problem. Su Shangyang said happily. The 50 billion investment in these two is slightly less. With 200 billion, there are many things that can be done. Lin Chen said, Commander Su, you will be responsible for the operation of the port and the mine when the time comes. I am only responsible for investing and collecting money. Su Shangyang smiled and said, this is what the country wants. Mr. Lin, it will take some time to collect this information. I will give you good news as soon as I have collected it. Good. After saying that, Lin Chen hung up the phone. Su Shangyang quickly reported to his superiors. I am also very happy to know this situation. Su Shangyang, you must make this right. While meeting the country's strategic needs, Xiaolin must also make money. His money didn't just come from the wind. A big guy above gave instructions. Su Shangyang murmured in his heart that the money Lin Chen had was probably much easier to come by than the money blown by the wind. If a strong wind blows $10 billion, how difficult it would be to pick it up. The chaebols of Dongying country compensated him $10 billion. I will make sure it's done. Su Shangyang said solemnly. In the blink of an eye, it was the next day. Lin Chen and Lin Xiaoqian continued to play in the snow outside. It takes 30 hours to reach the Grandmaster level for ice skills. As long as it snows a few more times, there will be no problem reaching the Grandmaster level. As for the Grandmaster level, if you want to rush forward, you probably have to go north. Chapter 419 Obtaining Explosives Technology. A few days passed in the blink of an eye. Lin Chen and his group said goodbye to Su Guofeng and his group, and they flew to Yincheng on the A380 private jet. The national security members who were protecting him came alone. There were hundreds of national security members. And some people have already arrived in Yincheng in advance to meet them. Cece, you're getting better and better at folding, Lin Chen said with a smile. He and Lin Xiaoqian were folding paper airplanes on the plane. Lin Chen's aircraft manufacturing skills are not far from the legendary level. Dad, when can we build a real airplane? Lin Xiaoqian asked expectantly. Lin Chen patted her little head and said, Cece, making a real airplane is very troublesome. Dad still needs to learn a lot. Don't rush it. I'm sure I'll be able to do that in the future. Lin Xiaoqian nodded, yeah. Dad, is it snowing at Grandpa and Grandma's place? I want to play in the snow. Not at the moment. But the weather forecast says it will snow tonight, Lin Chen said with a smile. Lin Xiaoqian's eyes lit up and she said, Dad, I want to play snowballs with other kids when I get home, is that okay? Lin Chen nodded. Of course you can, but you have to be careful. If other kids don't use snowballs but pick up stones or other things, you must stay away. You don't need to throw anything else at others, Lin Chen warned. Aha! Lin Xiaoqian nodded obediently. After origami plane was finished, Lin Chen said in his mind, System, how long will it take for aircraft manufacturing technology to reach the legendary level? It will take another 12 hours of experience. Lin Chen muttered to himself, 12 hours, not bad. He estimated that he could be promoted in about half a month. The plane landed. There were about 20 cars waiting for Lin Chen and his group at the airport. Several of them were riot control armored vehicles. These cars will follow Lin Chen to the countryside, but usually not so many people will show up. Woo woo. The convoy moved forward quickly with police cars leading the way. The vehicle-mounted drone jammer is turned on throughout the process, and all drones except the fiber-optic drone will be jammed. More than 2 hours later, the convoy arrived safely. Dad, Mom. Lin Chen and Su Mengyao got out of the car and shouted. Grandpa and Grandma. Lin Xiaoqian said sweetly. Hey! Lin Hai and his friends were delighted. They had never been so happy during the Chinese New Year before. Her son got married and had a daughter-in-law and a granddaughter, and Su Mengyao was pregnant with another baby. Cece, Grandpa will hold you. Lin Hai picked up Lin Xiaoqian. Chen Mei supported Su Mengyao with a smile on her face. Mom, I'm fine, Su Mengyao said a little embarrassedly. She can now fight 10 people alone without any problem. There's water on the ground, don't fall, Chen Mei said with a smile. Several people came into the house in a lively manner. Time goes by day. There wasn't too much snow last year, but this year it snowed a lot, so Lin Chen spent a lot of time playing in the snow with Lin Xiaoqian outside every day. In a blink of an eye it was New Year's Eve. Host, your ice skill has reached the Grandmaster level. The system's voice sounded in Lin Chen's mind. A lot of energy poured into Lin Chen's head. His mental power grew rapidly and underwent a mutation. The promotion was over soon. Lin Chen moved his mind, and a small ice spike appeared. Under his control, the ice spike shot out instantly. Its velocity is lower than that of a pistol bullet. But this ice spike is heavier than a bullet and is no less powerful. System, how much has my mental strength increased compared to before? Lin Chen asked in his mind. He knew he had become much stronger, but it was hard to tell. The system said, Host, your current mental strength is about 4 times what it was before you acquired the ice skill. Lin Chen's eyes lit up. It has indeed improved a lot. The effect of ice skills in improving mental strength is really good. There are many benefits to improving mental strength. Dad, what's that noise? Lin Xiaoqian looked at Lin Chen and asked doubtfully. Lin Chen smiled and said, Nothing, Cece, your hands are all red. Let's go inside and play something else first. How about playing in the snow in the afternoon? Lin Xiaoqian said coquettishly, Dad, I'm not cold. Can we play for a while longer? It's so fun in the snow. Then play for a little while longer, Lin Chen said. In the afternoon, many relatives came to Lin Chen's house. They built a new house and had the New Year's Eve dinner at their house this year. Lin Xiaoqian received a lot of red envelopes. After dinner, the relatives left and Lin Chen and his friends watched the Spring Festival Gala together. Son, you weren't invited to the Spring Festival Gala? Chen Mei asked. Su Mengyao smiled and said, Yes, he did. But we are coming back for the new year, and my husband refused to go. There's nothing to see. Lin Chen said, Cece, Daddy will take you to set off the fireworks. Aha! Lin Xiaoqian nodded repeatedly. When the two of them got outside, it was already completely dark. Shoo bang! Soon Lin Chen and Lin Xiaoqian were released. 5 minutes passed. The system voice sounded in Lin Chen's mind. Host, accompany Lin Xiaoqian to set off fireworks and obtain explosives technology. 10 hours to reach Grandmaster level, 20 hours to reach Grandmaster level. Lin Chen's eyes lit up. He actually acquired explosives technology. This is good stuff. The higher the level, the stronger the explosives will be. Nowadays, many countries have mushroom bombs, but no one dares to use them. When a war breaks out, only conventional weapons can be used. Explosives are key. More explosives will make many weapons more powerful. Hee, Dad, it looks so good. Dad, I want to let go too. Lin Xiaoqian said excitedly. Other little girls over 3 years old may not dare to set off fireworks by themselves, but Lin Xiaoqian is not afraid of it at all. Soon other children nearby came over. Lin Chen took them to set off fireworks together. Fortunately, Lin Hai prepared a lot of fireworks, so even if they last for several days, they can easily sustain Lin Chen and the others' fun tonight. 3 days passed in a flash. Host, your explosive skills have reached the master level. A large amount of information related to explosives flooded into Lin Chen's mind. You're not at a high enough level yet. Lin Chen muttered to himself. Fortunately, they were not planning to return to Shanghai so early. In the evening, several children set off fireworks with Lin Xiaoqian, who was also very interested in this. Another 4 days passed. Lin Chen's explosives technology finally reached the Grandmaster level. This is already the world's top level. And it is very comprehensive. Lin Chen is quite satisfied with this level for now. Legendary level. Then buy some small fireworks for Lin Xiaoqian to play with, and slowly brush it up to the legendary level. Dad, Mom, tomorrow is the 8th day of the first lunar month. We'll go back to the Magic City tomorrow. Lin Chen said to his parents. Many companies started working on the 8th day of the Lunar New Year. There were a lot of things to do at the beginning of the year, and Su Mengyao had to go to the company to deal with them. The next day, Lin Chen and his friends returned to the Magic City together. Lin Hai, Chen Mei, and others also came. Su Mengyao has been pregnant for more than 3 months and needs someone to take care of her, so Lin Chen may have to go on business trips sometimes. Ding ding. Lin Chen's cell phone rang. It was Su Shangyang who called. Mr. Lin, I have conducted a detailed investigation and have identified a number of ports and mines that are worth purchasing. Chapter 420 Huge Loan. Lin Chen's eyes lit up. Is that it? Su Shangyang was probably busy with this matter during the Chinese New Year. Minister Su, I'm sorry for disturbing your New Year celebration. Lin Chen said. Su Shangyang smiled and said on the other end of the phone, It's okay, my main task now is to serve you, Master Lin. And this is very beneficial to the country. Lin Chen, Minister Su, please help me find a bank manager who can lend 150 billion. It's a bit troublesome to go to the bank myself. Su Shangyang smiled and said, No problem, Mr. Lin, the bank will definitely provide door-to-door service for high-quality customers like you. Can we meet in your shop? Can. Lin Chen said, By the way, Chief Su, I have developed some medicines and I would like to cooperate with the country. His Western medicine has reached a mythical level. Su Shangyang's eyes lit up. Lin Chen's medical skills are the best in the world, and there is nothing wrong with the medicine he took out earlier. Mr. Lin, I wonder how you want to cooperate. What kind of medicine did you take out? Su Shangyang asked quickly. Lin Chen said, Just like solid-state batteries, I will provide the patent and the country will find suitable companies to produce them. This time I will bring out more than a dozen drugs. These include drugs that can completely cure early-stage cancer. Su Shangyang on the other end of the phone took a breath of cold air. Can cancer be cured directly by taking some medicine? Mr. Lin, what about mid to late stage cancer? In addition, what other diseases can your medicine treat? Su Shangyang asked excitedly. Lin Chen, middle and late stage cancer may involve many organs and cause other problems. This may not necessarily solve them, but it can also have a suppressive effect. Other drugs, there are drugs that can treat myopia, and drugs that can treat various inflammations. Oh, and one of them can be used to treat leukemia. Su Shangyang's eyes widened. He breathed rapidly and said, Mr. Lin, can leukemia really be cured? My nephew has leukemia. Lin Chen, it really works. Depending on the severity of the disease, 1 to 3 courses of medication will be enough. One course of treatment takes half a month. Minister Su, your nephew has leukemia, why didn't you come to me? I could have treated this before. Su Shangyang took a deep breath and said, Mr. Lin, I know your medical skills are very powerful, but I can't disturb you. Your time is very precious. Even when you were playing with Lin Xiaoxian, you were probably thinking about how to solve some problems in your mind. Lin Chen murmured in his heart, I overestimated him. When he was playing with Lin Xiaoxian, he was just playing. It's just that he has a nanny system, and he gets rewards for spending time with his kids. Minister Su, I'll pass the information to you. You guys take care of these drugs. Lin Chen said. Su Shangyang said solemnly, Okay, Mr. Lin, I will report it, and the country will definitely deal with it as soon as possible. After hanging up the phone, Su Shangyang was about to make a phone call, but considering the importance of the matter, he thought about it and decided to report to his leader in person. An hour later, Su Shangyang met a big boss. Mr. Huang, I have something important to report to you. Su Shangyang said. Mr. Huang smiled and said, Shangyang, the corners of your mouth are curled up. It seems that this time it is good news. Su Shangyang nodded, it is indeed good news. Mr. Lin told me that he has developed more than a dozen drugs, including drugs that can treat early-stage cancer and drugs that can treat leukemia. Mr. Huang was stunned. But soon he showed excitement on his face. Can all early-stage cancers be cured? If this is possible, then as long as the disease is discovered during a physical examination, it can be cured, and the country can save a lot of medical resources. Many families were able to recover. This is a great joyous event for the country and the nation. Su Shangyang, I didn't ask about this in detail, and Mr. Lin didn't say it can only be used to treat a certain type of cancer. Mr. Huang nodded. He didn't specify anything, so it should be okay. He means. Su Shangyang, Mr. Lin said that just like solid-state batteries, he obtained a patent and the country will make unified arrangements. Mr. Huang said with emotion, he is doing this for the country and the people. He can make a fortune if he starts his own company with drugs that can treat cancer and leukemia. Su Shangyang nodded. Mr. Lin has a strong sense of patriotism. He sent me all the relevant information, but I haven't read it yet. Mr. Huang said quickly, open the information quickly, I'll see what it contains. Soon Su Shangyang clicked on the information. There is a list of medicines. After looking at the list, Mr. Huang and the others were very excited. Okay, great. If these drugs are widely used, our country's public health index can be greatly improved. The pressure on the medical system can be greatly reduced. If we export, we can still earn a lot of money from abroad every year. Mr. Huang said excitedly. Su Shangyang smiled and said, in the field of medicine, our country is currently lagging behind the West, but as long as Mr. Lin is here, it seems that surpassing the West is just around the corner. Mr. Huang nodded. Boom boom. CCB head office President Tan Xinyan arrived at Ziyuan community. He knocked on the door of Lin Chen's shop. President Tan, please come in. The door opened quickly and Lin Chen said with a smile. Master Lin, it's not easy to come to your place. Tan Xinyan said with emotion. He went through 3 inspections before meeting Lin Chen. Even when he went to meet the big guys above, the inspections were not so strict. President Tan, why are you calling him Grandmaster Lin? Lin Chen said. Tan Xinyan smiled and said, that's what everyone on the internet calls you. With your current achievements, it's better to call you Grandmaster Lin. Lin Chen, that's what netizens are calling me. President Tan, you can just call me by my name. I'll call you Mr. Lin. Mr. Lin, I heard you want to take out a loan. Tan Xinyan asked. Lin Chen asked Tan Xinyan to sit down and said, yes, I want to borrow 150 billion. Is that convenient? Tan Xinyan was stunned. He knew that Lin Chen wanted to take out a loan, but he didn't expect the loan to be so large. Mr. Lin, you borrowed so much money? Tan Xinyan said in surprise. Lin Chen, President Tan, I am in your bank and I have over 160 billion in deposits. It should be no problem to loan 150 billion, right? Tan Xinyan was shocked again. He didn't know that Lin Chen had so much money in his account. Even if he is the president of the CCB head office, he needs authorization from above if he wants to check Lin Chen's account. Of course. Tan Xinyan said quickly, even if you, Mr. Lin, don't have any deposits in our bank, it will be no problem for you to get a loan. Lin Chen smiled and said nothing more. If he didn't have so much savings, even if he could get a loan, Tan Xinyan would definitely have to discuss it with his higher-ups. Otherwise, what will happen if there is a huge deficit in the future? President Tan, hurry up. Lin Chen said. Tan Xinyan quickly handled the formalities for Lin Chen himself. After completing the formalities, he said, Mr. Lin, 150 billion renminbi will be transferred to your bank card soon. Lin Chen nodded. Tan Xinyan left in a good mood. In the past, customers begged banks to lend them money, but now banks beg certain high-quality customers to lend them money. Lin Chen's 150 billion loan relieved his pressure a little. Chapter 421, Can Prenatal Education Improve Skills? The 150 billion loan was quickly in place, and the small amount of money on Lin Chen's card reached an astonishing 300 billion. However, he soon transferred 200 billion of it out, and someone from the state would be responsible for purchasing the ports and mines. It is hard to say how much profit these ports and mines make, but Lin Chen knows that they are unlikely to lose money. The minerals from the mines are to be sold to the state, and with the state's continuous acquisitions, this is absolutely stable. As for the ports, China's trade volume is there, and stopping at its own ports can reduce trouble, so there will definitely be merchant ships willing to stop there. Ding ding. Lin Chen called Su Shangyang. Minister Su, the money has been transferred to the account you mentioned. You can handle it as you wish. Don't seek to make money, just don't lose money. Lin Chen said. Su Shangyang said on the other end of the phone, Mr. Lin, if we can't make money, it's our fault. We will take into account the national interests and your personal interests, Mr. Lin. The ports and mines we purchase will definitely make money for you. But it's definitely not as lucrative as finance. Lin Chen chuckled and said, with such huge profits, why would anyone else play finance? You can handle it, Chi Su. I just give and share the money. Su Shangyang, Mr. Lin, we will definitely not let you worry about ordinary things. But if other countries impose sanctions or something at that time, the country can impose counter-sanctions, but the effect will be poor and the delay will be long, which will affect Lin Chen's business. Lin Chen said calmly, if I act recklessly, my hacker fan will most likely help me. That's good. Su Xiangyang said. He knew that the hacker must be Lin Chen, but everyone tacitly agreed not to break this layer of window paper. After hanging up the phone, Lin Chen walked outside the study. Honey, let's go shopping. Cece, let mom and dad take care of her. Lin Chen said with a smile. Su Mengyao has been pregnant for 3.5 months. She is now slightly pregnant and her old clothes no longer fit her. Honey, is it okay for us to go shopping? Or, should I ask some brands to deliver the clothes directly to me? Su Mengyao said. Some high-end brands have a higher tone. When ordinary people come into their stores, they may look down on them, but they will flatter customers like Su Mengyao. Manager-level personnel can provide door-to-door service. Let's go shopping. You haven't been shopping for a long time. Lin Chen said. Ever since his influence grew, Su Mengyao and Xinxing rarely went shopping. Although Xinxing was busy, she was not so busy that she had no time for such a long time. Xinxing was also worried that something might happen to Su Mengyao while shopping. Honey, if I buy loose clothes, people will definitely know I'm pregnant. Su Mengyao said. Lin Chen smiled and said, I'm 3.5 months pregnant, and the fetus is in good condition. It doesn't matter if others know about it. Even if I want to hide it, I can't keep it a secret for much longer. It's very obvious at 4 months. Su Mengyao nodded, hubby, I'll change my clothes. Lin Chen went to the second bedroom. Lin Xiaoqian is now staying in her elf hut. Cece, daddy is taking mommy shopping, why don't you go downstairs and play with your grandparents? Lin Chen asked through the small window of the elf hut. Dad, can't I come with you? Lin Xiaoqian asked. Lin Chen pinched her little face and said, Mom and Dad also want to live in a world of two. And if there are bad guys, it will be difficult for Dad to protect both of you at the same time. Dad will take you to the amusement park tomorrow, okay? Lin Xiaoqian's eyes lit up. Okay. Dad, can you please let Grandpa and Grandma come up? I still want to play in my elf house. Lin Chen nodded, okay, then let Grandpa and Grandma come up. The houses upstairs and downstairs are all theirs. Lin Chen's parents chose to live downstairs so that the noise from upstairs would not affect Su Mengyao. Soon Lin Chen's parents came up. Mom, are you feeling okay living here? Su Mengyao asked. Chen Mei smiled and said, "It feels great, Mengyao, you can go out without worry, we will take care of Cici." Soon Lin Chen and the others left. A part of the national security personnel stayed behind to protect Lin Hai and his group, and 20 or 30 national security personnel secretly followed Lin Chen and his group. They feel a lot of pressure. You will meet a lot of people when you go shopping, and danger may occur at any time. Lin Chen and Su Mengyao didn't feel any pressure. Lin Chen's ancient martial arts Tai Chi has long been at the legendary level and can withstand sniper bullets. Now that quite a bit of time has passed, his strength has naturally increased a lot. Su Mengyao's meridian expansion has basically completed, and during this process, her strength has increased a lot. If she wasn't pregnant now, Su Mengyao would have no problem fighting 20 adult men alone. Master Lin. Hello, Grandmaster Lin. Lin Chen and his friends were wearing masks, but after arriving at the mall, it didn't take long for someone to recognize them. Hello. I'm going shopping with Mengyao, please don't crowd around. Lin Chen said with a smile. Some of the people around left, but they still followed. Soon the person in charge of the mall came hurriedly. Mr. Lin, Mrs. Lin, welcome to our mall. Do you need us to evacuate the rest of the guests? Lin Chen waved his hand. No, you don't have to worry about us. Okay. The mall manager quickly stepped back. But he didn't retreat far away. If Lin Chen and the others had any needs, he could get close and provide services at the first time. Time passes by every second. The clothes Mr. Su bought seem to be a bit too big. Mr. Su must be very concerned about his figure. The clothes he buys now are too big. There is only one truth. She's pregnant? The sales clerks in the store were talking in low voices. Lin Chen walked out of the store and shook his head secretly. He was indeed discovered. However, he was too lazy to go back and ask them to keep it a secret. He bought clothes from more than one store, and it would be difficult to keep it a secret if so many people knew about it. Moreover, the pregnancy will be 4 months and half a month, and the pregnancy will be more obvious by then, so there is no point in keeping it secret any longer. Wife, the news that you gained weight during the Chinese New Year will probably spread all over the internet very quickly. Lin Chen whispered. Su Mengyao rolled her eyes at Lin Chen and said, I didn't gain weight, my belly just got a little bigger. Hubby, did you hear what others were saying? Lin Chen nodded slightly. Su Mengyao said, it's good that others know about it. I don't have to think of ways to hide it when I go to the company. Honey, I saw on the internet that prenatal education can be done after 3 or 4 months. Do we need to do it? Lin Chen was stunned. Prenatal education? System, if I give my child prenatal education, can I improve my skills? Lin Chen asked in his mind. System, host, it's okay if it's suitable. For example, language and music, if it's not suitable, you can't improve your skills. A faint smile appeared on Lin Chen's face. It really works. Honey, what are you thinking about? Su Mengyao asked. Lin Chen smiled and said, prenatal education is of course fine. I was thinking that we should give the baby a name first. Su Mengyao, let's go back and discuss it with CC. Chapter 422 Boy or Girl? In the evening, after Lin Chen finished telling a story to Lin Xiaoqian, Su Mengyao came out of the bathroom in her pajamas after taking a bath. Lin Chen looked at it with a fiery look. He hasn't had sex with Su Mengyao since she became pregnant. Of course, there are other games. Mom, come quickly. Dad said he has something to discuss with you. Lin Xiaoqian patted the pillow next to her and said. Su Mengyao got on the bed. Lin Xiaoqian asked curiously, Dad, Mom is here, what are we going to discuss? Lin Chen smiled and said, Cici, have you noticed that Mom's belly has grown a little bigger? Aha! Lin Xiaoqian nodded, I found out. The baby in Mom's belly has grown up and needs a bigger house. Mom's belly is the baby's house. Lin Chen said, Cici, we used to call him Bao Bao, but he should have a name, right? Our task today is to give him a name. Lin Xiaoqian said in confusion, Dad, I don't know if it's a brother or a sister in Mom's belly. Boys and girls have different names. Su Mengyao also looked at Lin Chen. Honey, am I pregnant with a boy or a girl? Can you tell me the answer now? Lin Chen couldn't take her pulse when she was just pregnant, but he can definitely do it now. Lin Chen hadn't mentioned it before and Su Mengyao hadn't asked either. Lin Chen looked at Lin Xiaoqian and asked with a smile, Cici, do you prefer a brother or a sister in your mother's belly? Lin Xiaoqian thought about it. Brothers and sisters are fine. But I hope that there is a little brother in my mother's belly. Su Mengyao asked doubtfully, Cici, why? Isn't it good for mom to have a little girl in her belly? Lin Xiaoqian said in a baby voice, Mom, if it's a brother, I'll be your only daughter. Lin Chen and Su Mengyao looked at each other. Lin Xiaoqian actually has such little thoughts. It seems that I have to pay more attention to her psychological changes in the future. You absolutely cannot ignore her just because you have a second child. Cici, even if you are my little sister, you should come to mom and dad first. Mom and dad love you the most. Lin Chen kissed Lin Xiaoqian and said. Even if, husband, the baby is a boy? Su Mengyao asked. Lin Chen nodded, yes, it's a boy. Even if he is born, Cici, you will still be our only little princess. Lin Xiaoqian showed a sweet smile on her face. Mom and Dad, when my little brother is born, I can take him to practice martial arts, play with model airplanes, and play basketball and football with him. Lin Chen said with a smile, no problem. Let's get back to the topic. We have to give the baby a nickname. Cici, you go first. Lin Xiaoqian tilted her head and thought for a while. Dad, my name is Cici and my brother's name is Dongdong, is that okay? Lin Chen looked at Su Mengyao. Su Mengyao smiled and said, Hubby, I think Cici's nickname is pretty good, how about calling her Dongdong? Sure. Lin Chen said with a smile. Brother, you will be called Dongdong from now on. Be good in mommy's belly, or I will spank you. Lin Xiaoqian leaned close to Su Mengyao's belly and said. After saying this she smiled happily. Su Mengyao touched her belly and a sweet smile appeared on her face. She was very happy that it was a son in her belly. Although it would be great to have another daughter, she already has a daughter, so she would rather have both a son and a daughter. For an ordinary family, having 2 daughters might be better and would reduce the pressure, but for their family, having 10 or 8 sons would not be stressful at all. Cici, Dongdong, Daddy will tell you another story. Just go to sleep, all of you. Lin Chen said with a smile. He slowly told a hypnotic fairy tale. Lin Xiaoqian fell asleep before she finished speaking. But Lin Chen still insisted on telling the complete story. Honey, let's go to the next room. Lin Chen kissed Su Mengyao on the mouth. Su Mengyao also wanted to move around. The next day, Lin Chen got up first. He only made breakfast for the 3 of them. Chen Mei and her family had agreed when they were back home that they would come over to help, but they would still live separately on a daily basis. When Lin Chen and others need help, Chen Mei and others will come, and when they don't need them, they just live their own lives. Lin Chen and Su Mengyao thought this was a good idea. There will be many differences in living habits between the 2 generations, and living together will inevitably breed some conflicts. Everyone can live their own lives separately, and when needed, they can be a unified big family again. Hubby, my meridian expansion is over. Can you help my parents improve their strength now? Su Mengyao said while eating breakfast. Lin Chen said, they can improve, but they are old and their meridians are aging, so the effect of meridian expansion will not be as good as yours, and the improvement in strength will be much smaller. I estimate that his strength is only 1/5 of yours. Su Mengyao thought about it. In another 2 months, when her physical condition improves, if she is not pregnant, she can beat 30 or 40 people by herself. 1 in 5 can also beat about 7. This strength is enough to deal with general dangers. Honey, will this affect you? How many people can you improve their strength at the same time? Su Mengyao asked. Lin Chen said, their improvement is small, so it's no problem for me to improve both of them at the same time, it won't have much impact. Cici, don't listen to us. Eat breakfast quickly. We have to go to Grandpa and Grandma's house to pay New Year's greetings later. Lin Xiaoqian giggled. Dad, I'll eat quickly. An hour and a half later, Lin Chen and his friends arrived at Su's house. Married daughters usually go back to their parents' home on the 2nd day of the Chinese New Year, but the distance is so far that it is too much trouble for Lin Chen and Su Mengyao to go back on the 2nd day of the Chinese New Year. Grandma, let me tell you a secret. Lin Xiaoqian said mysteriously. What secret? Yang Qingyue whispered. Lin Xiaoqian, Grandma, let me tell you, there is a little brother in Mom's belly, and his name is Dongdong. Yang Qingyue's eyes lit up. Did your father tell you? Lin Xiaoqian nodded and said, yes. Dad said it was his younger brother, and I named him Dongdong. It sounds good. But your name is better, Cici. Yang Qingyue kissed Lin Xiaoqian and said with a smile. Soon Su Guofeng also knew the secret. Both he and Yang Qingyue were very happy. Lin Chen doesn't care, either a son or a daughter is fine, but the older generation like Su Guofeng still cares about this a little. Continuing the family line is a big deal in their eyes. The Lin family is now also a wealthy and powerful family. If Su Mengyao is pregnant with a daughter again and can't have children in the future, what will Lin Chen do if he wants a son in the future? Lin Chen and Su Mengyao have a good relationship now, but it is hard to guarantee that there will not be some changes as time goes by. They felt relieved knowing that she was pregnant with a son. Lin Chen and Su Mengyao relationship will become more stable. Dad, do you want to become more powerful? Lin Chen smiled. Su Guofeng's eyes lit up. But he still said, Shaolin, don't waste your inner strength on us, just help Mengyao. Lin Chen said, I have helped Mengyao improve. With my strength, I can help you improve now. But you can't improve much. After mom's promotion, she can probably beat 6 or 7 normal adult men, and dad, you can probably beat about 10. Chapter 423 Xiaolin, can you fly? Su Guofeng was delighted. He thought it was pretty good if one person could beat 10 or so people. After the upgrade, the self-protection ability can be greatly improved. Yang Qingyue said, Shaolin, will this have a big impact on you? If it does, forget it. It's not that important whether our strength improves or not. Lin Chen smiled and said, it has no impact. But it doesn't improve all at once. It takes about a month to expand the meridians. I have to spend 2 hours a day to expand the meridians. Su Guofeng, why does it take so long? Your parents haven't been promoted yet? Lin Chen shook his head. My parents don't need to run around, let them promote you first. Yang Qingyue said, I don't need to run either. Let's do this, we'll go live with you for a while. Xiaolin, you can give your father and Lao Su a promotion first. They are men who care more about this. Su Guofeng nodded, that's good. My in-laws are coming over, let's stay over there for a while and get closer to them. Wife, you can go shopping with your mother-in-law more often, do some beauty treatments, etc. Yang Qingyue smiled and said, I think so too. Su Mengyao looked at Lin Chen and said, hubby, this is good. You can help your dad and my dad improve first. Lin Chen nodded. Su Guofeng asked curiously, Shaolin, after so much time, you can help us improve. Has your strength improved compared to before? It's a slight improvement. Lin Chen laughed and said, I can withstand sniper shots now. This. Su Guofeng and Yang Qingyue looked at Lin Chen in shock. Resisting sniper fire, is this something a human can do? The powerful sniper rifle using armor-piercing bullets can penetrate 5-centimeter thick steel plates. Su Guofeng and his colleagues couldn't believe it. Why can the human body be so strong? Shaolin, in those martial arts movies, I'm afraid that the martial arts masters don't have the strength like you, right? Yang Qingyue said in surprise. Lin Chen nodded slightly. He has already been a legend. Moreover, not only his martial arts skills improved, his physical fitness was also getting stronger every day. After such a long time, his physical fitness had reached a very abnormal level. If it weren't for his constantly improving physique, his legendary level martial arts skills alone would probably not be enough to withstand it. Xiaolin, can you fly? Su Guofeng asked curiously. Lin Chen shook his head, I can't fly now, but I can fly 300 or 400 meters by borrowing the force and consuming the internal energy to control the energy. Su Guofeng took a deep breath and said, flying 300 or 400 meters at a time can be considered flying. If your strength is revealed, it will probably shock many people. Lin Chen said, there is no need to show it for now. Dad, if anything happens to you again in the future, don't panic, stabilize the enemy and I will rescue you. Su Guofeng and Yang Qingyue nodded. However, they feel that the possibility of another accident is not high. The consequences of doing this are very serious. Those rebels in Africa are having a miserable time now. Mom, what are you talking about? Can I go play with Yuan, Yi and the others? Lin Xiaoqian came over skipping and jumping. Su Mengyao smiled and said, of course. Honey, take Cici out. I'll help my parents clean up. Yang Qingyue shook her head, I don't need your help, just take Cici out. Just stay there for a month. There's not much to collect. Su Mengyao nodded. Lin Chen and his family of 3 left the villa. It is a sunny day today. Although the temperature is not high, the warm sunshine is still quite comfortable on the body. Hey! It didn't take long for Lin Xiaoqian to find a friend. Master Lin, we have to thank you very much. Yi's mother said gratefully. Lin Chen asked in surprise, thank me? Yi's mother nodded. Yi was infected with the flu virus before, and she recovered quickly after using your medicine. Some neighbors used imported medicine, and although it cured them, the treatment process was quite tiring and there were sequelae. Now I still cough occasionally. Lin Chen smiled and said, I'm glad Yi is okay. Mr. Su, congratulations. Yi's mother looked at Su Mengyao again and said, thanks. Su Mengyao smiled. You guys chat, I'll go look after Sisai and the others. Lin Chen said. He approached Sisi and Yi. Lin Xiaoxi had learned a lot now, but Yi was still confused. However, she and Yi could still play together. Lin Chen thinks this situation is pretty good. Sisai is still so young, he doesn't want her to learn too much and lose her innocence early. Not long after, Lin Xiaoqian's other friends, Yuan Yuan, Pippi, Tian Tian and others all came out. Their family conditions are very good to be able to live here, but their parents know very well that there is a big gap between them and Lin Chen, and it is good for the children to be close to him. At noon, Lin Chen and his friends had lunch at Su's house. In the afternoon, Su Guofeng and his friends temporarily moved to Ziyuan community. My dear mother-in-law, my dear mother-in-law. When Lin Chen's parents met Su Guofeng and his friends, they were very enthusiastic towards each other. Let's improve the strength of Su Guofeng and Lin Hai first. Lin Hai and Chen may have no objection. Dad, father-in-law, please sit down cross-legged. Lin Chen took Lin Hai and the others to the study. He sat behind Lin Hai and the others. He placed his hands on their backs, and soon 2 streams of internal force surged out. Lin Chen simultaneously expanded their meridians. With Lin Chen's current mental strength, not to mention doing 2 things at once, doing 3 or 4 things at once is no problem at all. 2 hours later the first expansion ended. Lin Hai and the others felt their bodies were full of strength, as if they had suddenly become several years younger. Shaolin, I feel like I've become much stronger. Su Guofeng clenched his fist and said. Lin Chen said, this is just an illusion. It will take some time for your strength to really improve. Su Guofeng nodded. Shaolin, will the promotions be in the afternoon from now on? I need to go to the company, so I'm afraid I won't have time in the afternoon. Lin Chen said, let's do it at night from now on. From 8:30 to 10:30, Cici went to bed at 8:30. Sisai wants to listen to my stories before she goes to bed at night. Su Guofeng and Lin Hai nodded. The upgrade ended at 10:30, which wasn't too late. Ding ding. Lin Chen's cell phone suddenly rang. Su Guofeng and Lin Hai turned and left the study. Lin Chen took out his cell phone. It was Yi Hong calling. Master Lin, are you available? My wife needs your acupuncture treatment again. Yi Hong said on the other end of the phone. Mr. Yi, you don't have to be so polite. I will naturally do what I promised you. After one more treatment, your wife's illness should be completely cured. Lin Chen said with a smile. Yi Hong's wife needs acupuncture once a month. Naturally, there was treatment in the first few months. Master Lin, thank you, thank you. Master Lin, when do you think it's convenient? We can do it any time. We've already arrived in the Magic City. Yi Hong said happily. Lin Chen thought for a moment and said, today is fine. Just like before, let's go to my shop for acupuncture. Chapter 424, Private Kitchen Raises Prices and Reopens? Half an hour later, Lin Chen met Yi Hong and his wife. Yi Hong's wife looks no different from a normal person. Master Lin, Happy New Year. Yi Hong and the others were extremely enthusiastic. Happy New Year. Lin Chen smiled and said, Boss Yi, I've told you several times that you don't have to bring gifts every time you come. Yi Hong smiled and said, we traveled around and brought back some special products from abroad. They have been inspected, Master Lin, you can rest assured. It was easy for them to come and see Lin Chen in the past. Now, meeting Lin Chen requires going through 3 tests. Lin Chen chuckled and said, after one more treatment, you will be completely cured and you can travel for a long time in the future. Yi Hong's wife was delighted. Master Lin, thank you. Lin Chen said, you're welcome, I'll give you acupuncture right away. Lin Chen finished the acupuncture very quickly. Yi Hong asked, Master Lin, your private kitchen has not been open for a long time. Do you not plan to open it in the future? Lin Chen frowned and said, if we continue to open it, customers will bring the best ingredients from all over the world, and we can also meet friends from all over the world. I think it's great. But there's a small problem. Guests used to have to go through triple checks like you guys. Isn't this bad? Yi Hong said, I don't think it matters. The stricter the inspection, the higher the quality of the meal. It doesn't matter if the inspection is stricter as long as we can eat top-notch food. Lin Chen nodded. I'll think about it. Yi Hong said, Master Lin, if you reopen the business, you have to adjust the price. 1 million is definitely not enough. You were just an ordinary person before. It is now well known that your fairy tales, calligraphy, painting, singing, piano, mathematics, medicine, and basketball are all among the best in the world. And once you reopen, everyone will know that your cooking skills are among the best in the world. Yi Hong added in his mind, there is also hacking technology. Many people on the internet think that the mysterious hacker is Lin Chen. Yi Hong's wife said, Master Lin, the price really needs to be raised, otherwise there will be thousands of people lining up. Some of your fans who are not very wealthy may want to empty their pockets to eat the food you cook. That's not good. Lin Chen nodded, how much do you think is appropriate? Yi Hong thought for a moment and said, the highest auction price for the buffet lunch was $19 million, and in recent years it has been around $3 million. Mr. Lin, your achievements are much greater than his. I think it should be at least over $5 million. I'm not very rich, but if it's just $5 million, I'll fight for it every month. Lin Chen smiled and said, Boss Yi, you are too modest. You have assets of 20 to 30 billion, aren't you considered rich? Yi Hong smiled. My money is only about $3 billion, which is nothing compared to the world's richest people. There are too many rich people in the world. A lot of people aren't even on the Forbes list. Lin Chen nodded slightly. Master Lin, if you reopen your business and cook for others with your identity, would you feel uncomfortable? Yi Hong said a little hesitantly. Lin Chen smiled and said, what's the big deal? Mr. Lei has so many assets, he can even open car doors for ordinary people. One should keep his back straight, but his nostrils should not point upwards. I don't think cooking is a lowly thing. Yi Hong breathed a sigh of relief. Master Lin, then there will be no problem. Yi Hong's wife said, Master Lin, it would be great if I could appreciate some of your works there. Lin Chen nodded slightly. That's worth considering. Let's say the price is $5 million. If no one else wants to compete, it will be you, Mr. Yi. Yi Hong's eyes lit up. But he soon sighed and said, unfortunately, the possibility of us obtaining it directly is infinitely close to zero. Master Lin, can I help you promote it? Lin Chen nodded, okay. Yi Hong quickly passed the news to Yu Henian and others. Yu Henian and others' eyes lit up. Can I still eat the dishes cooked by Lin Chen? With Lin Chen's current status and influence, they originally thought that there might be no hope in this life. Although $5 million is not cheap, Yu Henian and others think it is worth it to be able to eat the food cooked by Lin Chen and chat with Lin Chen. Yu Henian and others also reported the news. Camel Country. Hale's eyes lit up. Finally, I can eat Lin Chen's cooking again. He had eaten it before and never forgot it. The price has increased, but in Hale's view, this price increase is very good as it can reduce many competitors. He even felt that the mentioned $5 million was not enough. It would be best if the amount could be raised to $20 million. $100 million can be used for 5 meals, which he thinks is a good deal. You only eat it once a month at most, and you may not win every month. You may not spend $100 million in a year. He had enough money to live till he died. Ding ding. Before the treatment was over, Hailey called, Dear Lin, your private kitchen has finally reopened. But isn't this price a bit bad? Lin Chen asked, what's the problem? Hailey said on the other end of the phone, too cheap. Dear Lin, you are not the same person you were before. $5 million for a meal is really too cheap. I suggest you raise it to $30 million per meal. We in Camel Country can provide it to you every month. Lin Chen. Prince Hailey, $30 million is too much. I mainly want to make friends all over the world. I won't do this just to make money. If I spend the money I have now normally, I can't spend it all in 100 lifetimes. Hailey said regretfully, that's a pity. For $5 million, there will be many more competitors. Lin, arrange a lottery for me every month. If I win, I will fly to China immediately. Lin Chen, okay. After hanging up the phone, Yi Hong said, Master Lin, you spoke Arabic. Was it Prince Haile who called you? Lin Chen nodded. Yu Heian should have told him. Yi Hong smiled and said, he probably thinks 5 million is too low. Lin Chen said, you guessed it right, he hopes to raise it to 30 million US dollars. But there is no need, just 5 million. 1 or 2 meals a month. The news spread quickly. Before Lin Chen returned home, there were already 20 or 30 people who wanted to make an appointment, including more than 10 from the camel country. Husband, are you reopening your private kitchen? Su Mengyao said with some confusion when she just got home. Someone sent her a message, asking her for help. Lin Chen nodded. He smiled and said, I have to be a little off duty. That way the enemy won't be so eager to target me. And this way I can make more friends with some of the richest people. The underworld is not about fighting and killing, but about the ways of the world. You and Cici will be able to eat delicious food. Some of the top ingredients may not be available even if you have money. Su Mengyao said coquettishly, we are not foodies. Mom, I am. Lin Xiaoxian ran over and laughed. Chapter 425 Yi Hong becomes an assistant. $5 million can only buy one meal, and I have to bring my own food? Will eating this help me ascend to immortality? It's so expensive, I don't think many people would eat there. I don't know who posted the news on the internet. Countless people were talking about it. Let alone 5 million US dollars, even 5 million renminbi is something that many ordinary people cannot earn in their lifetime. Many people have questioned this price. At the same time, the news spread on the internet, and more wealthy people knew about Lin Chen as private chef. More and more wealthy people want to make reservations to have a meal here. Not to mention how the dishes cooked by Lin Chen taste. If the news of having a meal with Lin Chen gets out, how much advertising effect will that have? Boss Yi, can you do me a favor? After receiving a lot of calls, Lin Chen called Yi Hong. He was annoyed beyond endurance. Yi Hong on the other end of the phone said quickly, Master Lin, you are too polite. If you have anything to ask, just tell me. It was Lin Chen who saved his wife's life. Lin Chen said, too many people are calling me, which affects my ability to take care of the baby. Can you filter them for me? From now on I will block strangers from my phone. Yi Hong's heart beat faster. Let those wealthy people contact him first? There are huge benefits contained in this. This enabled him to get to know many wealthy people around the world. Master Lin, I do. Yi Hong said quickly. His wife has recovered, and while he is traveling, he still wants to take his career to the next level. You can help Lin Chen answer the phone anywhere. It won't affect his travels and it will also be of great benefit to his career. Lin Chen said, Mr. Yi, thank you very much. Please give me a list every week, write down the name, contact information, and the approximate wealth and identity of the other party. Okay, Master Lin. Yi Hong smiled and said, I will work for you in the future. Lin Chen, many of the people we contacted are wealthy people. Ordinary professional managers may not be qualified. Mr. Yi, I can only trouble you to help with this matter. Boss, this is a great thing. It's my honor that you thought of me for such a thing. Yi Hong's name has been changed. Lin Chen smiled and said, Boss Yi, I'll send a message. I guess someone will contact you soon. Okay. After hanging up the phone, Yi Hong was very excited. Honey, what's going on? Yi Hong's wife approached him and asked. Yi Hong said happily, Master Lin contacted me. There are too many wealthy people who contacted Master Lin, which affected his ability to take care of the baby. He asked those wealthy people to contact me first in the future. I will be his assistant from now on. Yi Hong's wife soon realized the beauty of this. Not everyone can contact those wealthy people. Now that Yi Hong has become Lin Chen's assistant, they have to take the initiative to contact him in the future, and they have to be polite. How could there be any less benefit if this continues? Hubby, you have to do a good job then. If you do a good job and become Master Lin's right-hand man, your name may be recorded in history books in the future. Yi Hong's wife encouraged. Yi Hong was stunned. He said excitedly, I haven't thought of this yet. Given Master Lin's situation, if I do well, I might actually be included in the history books with him, haha. Lin Chen quickly released the information. He did not disclose Yi Hong's phone number, but those wealthy people must have ways to contact him. Ding ding. Sun Yihong's cell phone rang. It was a wealthy man from abroad who called. Yihong answered the phone and communicated with the other party in fluent English. He hung up 2 minutes later. Husband, who is it? Yihong said, he is a European noble. I had no right to talk to him before. He is of noble status and his assets are more than 10 times mine. Yihong quickly took out his notebook and recorded the other party's information. He also looked up some information on the internet. Ding ding. Just as he finished recording, his phone rang again. It feels good. This kind of thing should be dealt with by someone else. Lin Chen muttered to himself. After blocking the unknown calls, his whole world became quiet. Given Yihong's wealth, it is appropriate for him to handle the matter, and Lin Chen also trusts the character of the couple. After Yihong sorted it out, he gave him the list. He would add some of the names to his address book so that the other party could contact him directly in the future. A week passed in the blink of an eye. Yihong called Lin Chen, boss, a total of 473 people contacted me this week. I didn't record some of them. There are a total of 235 people recorded. I'll send you the list. Lin Chen, boss Yi, thank you for your hard work. There are nearly 500 calls, and if all of them were to contact him, it would undoubtedly take up a lot of his time to take care of the children. He might as well not be a private chef. Boss, it's not hard. Boss, please don't call me Mr. Yi. I'm your assistant. Just call me by my name. Yihong said on the other end of the phone. Lin Chen thought for a moment and said, I'll call you Old Yi from now on. Okay. Yihong said with a smile. Soon Yihong passed the list to Lin Chen. The list was made into a table, which included name, phone number, approximate assets, or special identities. It took Yihong a lot of effort to organize this. Lin Chen had a strong mental strength and could read 10 lines at a glance. He quickly finished reading the form compiled by Yihong. Most of these people have assets of no less than $1 billion. A small number of people have less assets than this amount but have strong backgrounds. It was impossible for Lin Chen to add all the more than 200 people. After spending some time, he added about 30 of them. These people are either very rich or of noble status, and any one of them holds a very important position. It is worth mentioning that some people on the list are very rich, but Lin Chen did not include them either. For example, among them are 2 super rich people from the East Sakura country. Not everyone can eat the dishes he cooks. Ding ding. Lin Chen made a phone call. The other party is a super rich man in Australia. He also controls many mines in Australia. It may be slow for the country to negotiate and purchase mines, but if it can get support from the other party, it will be able to quickly buy many mines in Australia. Mr. Maguire, I'm Lin Chen. Lin Chen said in English. Maguire on the other end of the phone said happily, Mr. Lin, you contacted me, it seems that you have good news? Lin Chen asked, Mr. Maguire, I want to ask why you are willing to spend $5 million on a meal? Maguire, Mr. Lin, I'm sick, and many hospitals say my disease is incurable. Mr. Lin, you are a very good doctor and I want to see you. Lin Chen was stunned. So that's how it is. This may be the case for many wealthy people who want to eat. After all, no matter how rich you are, some diseases cannot be cured. So that's how it is. Mr. Maguire, congratulations on your successful appointment. The time is the day after tomorrow at noon. You should know the rules, right? Lin Chen said. Maguire quickly said, I understand. Bring your own ingredients and have them delivered that morning. There are 10 dishes in total, you can take them away.